Hello, everyone. I am Jennifer Shahade. Welcome back to the Women's Speed Chess Championships. Today, I am with a Grandmaster, Anna Muzychuk, to bring you the exciting action. Hello, Anna. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Jennifer. Glad to be together with you and comment the games.
I know you'd even rather be in this. Those of you who've been watching from the beginning know that Anna had a phenomenal match earlier in this leg. Was doing really well, didn't make it through, but as a consolation to all of us, we still have you here. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, thanks. You know, you always can find something good about even losing some matches because if I was playing, I wouldn't be here, right?
Exactly. There's always a positive. People like to mock me about always looking for the good and everything, but hey, that's what we got to do, especially these days. Let's take a look at how this all works. The Women's Speed Chess Championships presented by chess.com and FIDE. Well, it is a four-leg event, so all July you get to see this Women's Speed Chess Championship action, 21 participants, including Anna herself. And we have each of the 21 participants playing in three of the four legs. So if you're missing a player, it's probably because they were taking their leg off. And I think you're taking the next leg off, right?
Yeah, I played in the first two, then I'm missing the third one, and I will be back in the fourth one.
And we also have some really great prizes for this event. So each leg has $3,000 and 12 Grand Prix points for first place. And we see that all the other these other top places give you a lot of points and cash as well. Very generous prizes. Really nice for this time when a lot of the chess tournaments that these players would normally be playing in are canceled. So huge shout out to FIDE and chess.com for making that possible. And let's take a look at the leaderboard as we've got some really big front runners here, Anna. Anna Ushina actually won the last leg. So she already has 12 points. And Valentina Gunina is also sitting pretty with 8 points. And they're both in the semifinals today as well.
Yeah, they will have some exciting matches, I believe, today. And Anna really did great in the first leg. And yesterday she beat Hoify, which was a fantastic achievement. So I believe she's really in a good form. And I'd also like to thank FIDE and chess.com for this cooperation, for organizing this event, because we witnessed that there are no live tournaments, obviously, but there are also not so many women's tournaments. So it's really great that some attention was paid to women chess and that this tournament is really nice organized. I'm really thankful and I'm glad to be a participant.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Anna. It's just great to see. And speaking of what we're going to see, we're going to kick it off with this match between Sarah Kadim and Anna Ushanina. Now, who do you favor in this match, and what do you think the arc of it will be?
It will be definitely an interesting match. Difficult to say who will be the winner, but I believe Ushanina is the favorite because she's really doing great in these events. Though Sarah is also known to be a good blitz player, I remember that in 2018 she finished second in the Women's World Blitz Championship. So the definitely will be a strong fight. And I think the games are about to start, or perhaps they even started already.
Yeah, I think they haven't started quite yet, but they're going to be starting momentarily. And so you're thinking, yeah, Anna is clearly a favorite. I would say after beating Ho Yifan, how can she not be? But Sarah just had such a great attitude yesterday, and she seems like such a great fighter. So I'm very hopeful that the match will be close.
Yeah, it will be interesting. We start with this match soon, so the games are about to start, I believe. And yes, I think Anna got a lot of confidence after yesterday's match because beating Hui Fan, beating the best female chess player, active chess player at the moment, I think you must really feel that you are in great form and that everything is going right.
Yeah, God, it was such an entertaining match as well. All
Yeah,
right.
I followed it.
Oh, you were watching? Yes, yeah. By the way, Grandmaster Robert Hess, who I called it with, we had so much fun. It was just the matches so far were so great, and just so many of them were very close. But even the ones that were blowouts, there was always these like exciting moments and games. Tell us a
Yeah,
little
with
bit though about playing in one of these speed chess championships. These in this knockout format. And the escalation of the time control is that stressful?
it's very unusual for and we are not, I mean, many players are not used to playing with this time control, and especially for me, when I played my matches, everything was okay when it was 5+1 and 3+1, but when it was coming to 1+1, it was a disaster. I simply don't have experience, which is very, very important to play 1+1. It's more about experience and special skills rather than about chess. That's what I see and what I believe at the moment.
And we are off. And absolutely, yes. Bullet is really its own format. Well, we've got the game going on. Queen's Gambit accepted. Sarah playing with the white pieces. How do you feel about this opening?
The opening is very solid for both sides. I think Anna Oshana started to play it recently, but with a good success. I remember some games she played versus Valentina Gunina, and she won some games in this opening. And I can say in general that Anna Oshana with black pieces, she implied many new lines. Also, she started playing Petrov after e4. Before she was very known to be like a Karkan player. And also, yeah, this Queen's Gambit accepted. The game will be very solid. I think it will be like white will have a slight plus, but black also has very good chances to equalize.
That's right, Anna. Now, don't we really kind of need to get the move c5 in this position in order to equalize? So bishop takes f3 was played, and now I'm imagining queen takes f3. Can you get away with playing c5 right away, or do you have to prepare it? Because I really feel that if you don't play that, then I'm going to get a knight on c6 at some point, and it's going to be difficult for you.
Yeah, in general, playing c5 is like the main idea for black, because if you don't play c5, then you have problems with the c7 pawn, and the knight may jump to c6, just blocking all the queen's side. So you have to play c5 someone, but you also have to be careful with that, because we see that black isn't fully developed. The king is still in the center. So by playing c5, you have to be careful with such moves like d takes c5, then followed by rook d1. Also, you have to be careful with a4, and so some things must be calculated. Also, knight e5 is interesting because this is also the change of the structure. So sometimes you take on e5, then you, for example, knight e5, d takes e5, then you go knight d7 or knight d5, and it's okay for black. But sometimes you may also find some problems, like how to develop your bishop from f8. Also, the pawn on e5 occupies a lot of space. So we see that everywhere there are some advantages and disadvantages, and some precise calculation may be needed, even though it looks like the position isn't so sharp.
Yeah, this is a really important moment for black, isn't it? Because we still have the two moves to castling, and in fact, we still do because black played rook to c8. So as white here, I'm thinking, okay, I definitely need to calculate the move d5. Your king's in the center. Try to rip it open, and not only rip open the position in your king, but also with the rook. Now she just chose to take
She
on
took,
c5. Similar idea.
yeah, taking on c5, then I believe bishop c5 will be played. And then we will see a4 or knight c3, I think.
So
This is like,
knights, yeah, knight c3, and then can black just castle, or is it something like she played queen b7 first, Anna? None of the moves that we expected. Just
yeah,
attacking the pawn on a6.
I think that really makes sense, because it's not only taking the pawn on a6, but it prevents black from castling, as the knight on d7 will not be well defended. So black has some problems. Queen c7 was played. Now we have to calculate if we can take on a6. If there was no bishop on c5, there is a typical idea of queen takes c1, but there is a bishop on c5, unfortunately for black. So she played b4, and we see she sacrificed a pawn, and I'm not sure she has enough of compensation for that. Let's see how she will develop. I think castling now.
Yeah, because the queen can always just scurry back to e2 if you play rook a8. It's not like we have a dearth of squares for that queen to go to. Knight e4 played by Sarah. As she tries to unravel, she's hoping to play bishop d2 and rook c1 and just consolidate her extra pawn.
Or maybe bishop d2 and a4, because at some moment you have really to push this a pawn to prove that you're a pawn up and to make use of it. So let's see, bishop d2, maybe also bishop e1 is very often a useful move, because then you open your rook from d1 in this way. So I believe some, bishop e1 to come and a4. I think it's like the plan white want to.
Yeah, nice start for Sarah. As we know, she's the underdog here. I mean, look at that blitz rating of Anna Ushanina, who just beat Hou Yifan 2,700 plus. But what I like is not only that Sarah's up a pawn, but she's also up over a minute.
Yeah, she's doing well with time, and that's also very important, because time management in Blitz, it's like really essential. And now Queen e5 was played, attacking the knight on e4 and keeping an eye on the b2 pawn. So I think now it's some important moment for white what to do. If we just retreat the knight to, for example, g3, or what can be the other ideas?
Yeah, that's a good question, because if we play a move like f3, we weaken ourselves. If we play queen d3, now we're lining ourselves up for the rook when you play rook d8. So actually, there's just not a lot of great options. And I got to say, I love this move, queen e5. It seems like a really good move. Knight g3 was played because the knight's not really that beautiful on g3. It's going to need to go to e2 to route itself to a useful square. And from Black's point of view, can we just hit back and take on b2 now? Why
I
not?
think I think that's what Anna is thinking about. Taking on b2 seems very logical. But after rook b2, I am thinking maybe rook a b1, attacking the queen. Queen b2 wasn't played, so maybe she was afraid of now something like queen rook b1, and then if the queen retreats somewhere to e5 or f6, we take the b4 pawn, and if queen a3, then perhaps queen takes a3, b takes a3, rook b7, or something of this kind.
Yeah, she decided not to do a practical decision. She didn't want to eat up too much of her remaining 2 minutes contemplating the consequences. Now, I should point out that the black queen on e5 is really a powerhouse, and combined with this pawn on b4, which limits the scope of white's pieces, black does have some compensation, but is it enough?
That's the question. Also, rook c2 is an unpleasant idea. Which
Yeah, you
may
mean,
be
sorry, go
played
ahead.
even now.
Yeah, rook c2 looks really appealing, no doubt. Rook c2, trying to think what white would do after that move. You're just trying to now take on b2, and I'm also thinking that black might play a move like h5, although pushing the pawn to h4 isn't really going to move your knight to a worse square, right? Because it kind of wants to reroute to e2 and d4 anyway, right?
I think h5 is also an interesting idea, and it's a very typical idea. And for Blitz, it's very unpleasant, because it's not only about playing h4 and kicking the knight from g3, because the knight on g3 isn't like an active piece, but on the next move you'll also play h3, and after h3 your king, white's king really starts to feel like there is some danger. So h5, h4, h3 is also an interesting idea.
Yeah, definitely feeling the heat. No time for it immediately, because we did see Anna play queen to Sarah play queen to a4, attacking that rook on c2. The rook went back to c4. She
I
really
think
does
we
not want to trade here.
I think we have to mention and to explain why rook b2 wasn't played, and I believe it's because of f4, and after f4 I don't see where the queen can move and not to blunder the rook on b2. So that's why she moved the rook to c4, and this was played very quickly. So once again, we can see that all the tactical tricks Anna sees very well, and she doesn't blunder. And when she has the opportunity to make some combinations, she does it. So she really has a good tactical eye for such things.
Yeah, I love that, Anna, because I was looking at queen d3, but queen d3 wouldn't have the same trick because then after rook b2, f4, rook b1, and I'd get the two rooks for the queen, and also I'd be checking
Yep.
you with the initiative. So queen a4, very clever because it also protects the rook on d1. But let's get back into the game because bishop c3 was just played. Pawn takes
But
c3.
h5 was also played. You see, your
Yes.
move was played. It's nice.
It's good to see it. Yes, it's a lot of heat here because pawn takes c3 would allow the capture on c4. So instead, she just played queen to g5. Can we just capture that pawn on b4 now? What's going on? She's done it.
And we have to be careful with h4, h3 now. I'm not sure what Sarah prepared, but it doesn't look so clear. Knight d5 instead.
Knight d5, Anna ramping up the pressure here. She's looking at playing rook takes c3 can happen in certain situations, but no, she's just lining up the rook and the queen on the g file. And it's not even an open g file, it's a closed g file. E4 played. We've seen in a lot of these matches how important this concept of queen trade is. Wait, what's going on? Okay, we did get the queens off the board. That's a huge win for white, right?
Yeah, cool, because when you're a pawn up, you really want to chain the queens, and also the queen on g5 was a little bit annoying with this h4 h3 idea. So I think it's an improvement for white to trade the queens. And now also Anna is down to 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Oh my god! When I see like I have 5 seconds. By the way, were there rook g3? Wasn't it missed?
Oh, and look at that, Sarah Kadim, she's won the first game of this match. The underdog started with the win. I love to see it because you're always a little worried in these matches that it's going to be a blowout because we've seen so many blowouts in women's speed chess champs, and I kind of love to see the underdog start with a win, especially because I think that in the very fast time controls, Anna is going to have a bigger edge potentially.
Yeah, she's playing amazingly this 1+1 format even. And I think she will realize that her main problem was time, and she will try to play quicker this game and also later on the match. Let's see how it will go.
All right. Well, yeah, let's check out this game. Can Anna come back to this game with the white pieces? Well, she's attacking that queen on b6, isolated queen pawn position. These are very instructive positions because everybody gets them, right? And the question is this pawn on d4 a weakness or a strength? That's what we find out. What do you think, Anna? What's your first impression?
That's not easy to say it in general because everything depends on some concrete position. And here we may see, look at this queen b4 move, preventing black from castling and threatening knight d6. It's really very unpleasant. And I'm not sure what black can do now, playing rook d8 or long castle.
Yeah.
But long castle, it's so dangerous with open c file. I believe rook d8 will be played with some idea of queen e7 and then trying to castle the king.
Yeah, rook d8 I like with the idea of queen e7, as you point out, because whoa, she's allowing knight d6 because she played knight to d5. So I think she was going to play king d7, and then your queen was in check. But okay, knight d5, queen c5, renewing the threat of knight to d6 check. And again, do we have to play rook d8 here just to prevent that?
Also, queen d6 instead of queen c5 was interesting.
Yeah, I agree. She wants to keep queens on the board, though. Rook d8 now. It seems like it's always in the last couple of games, it's Ushanina who wants to keep queens on the board, right? She's attacking.
Also, some queen a7 maybe calculated now, just taking the pawn. I'm not sure it's good, but it can be an option.
Yeah, queen a7 because that knight on c6 is pinned, right? So we could. So it's not. It looks visually like it's defending this pawn, but in fact it's not. And note that that's the correct move order because if you take first, then pawn capturing would defend the pawn on a7. But She said no, she's not interested in any measly pawns. She just castles. Queen a7 is still a threat, and you still can't castle. So instead, a6 played by Sarah.
So bishop takes c6, queen c6. And now the queen has to move somewhere. Well, the queen can't go to a3 because the knight on c4 is unprotected. So we must go to an endgame, and this is already a good sign for black.
But on the other hand, she manages to play takes on c5 with a pawn, and now she's sunk her knight into d6. Isn't that an intimidating knight?
Knight on d6 looks so lovely. I mean, I love this knight on d6. Such an active piece, and it's also blocking the rooks.
Yeah, Yvette Garcia Morales, who I think is doing commentary for this event in Spanish right now, gave a class to my girls' club room last night, and she called this the pulpo night. That's octopus in Spanish.
Yeah.
We don't have that word in English, Chaz, but I love it, as it's outpost and it's also attacking 8 different squares, the maximum knight that you can have, really.
Yeah, so black really has to take care of this knight. Also, b6 idea is kind of in the air because the pawn cannot take on b6 back, as the knight will be unprotected.
Right, so f6 played, but I imagine she's going to play knight c4, but I guess you just have bishop d3 then? Yeah, bishop d3, you want to get rid of one of those knights. Let's see.
I'm not sure she will take now.
What's that?
I'm not sure she will take now because bishop c4, rook c4, and after b6 there is b4. So we keep this pawn on c5 and you keep the important knight on d6. Maybe black will wait some time before taking on c4. Yeah, rook d7.
Rook d7, right? Because as you point out, now we have time to play b4 when we get our rook to c4. Yeah, that's why I'm worried about this position for white. But what does white do here? What if I play just knight a5, looking to just capture on b7?
And knight a5, don't we have b6 then?
Yeah, you have b6. It's true. It's true.
I thought about rook a3, some idea to ask the bishop where are you going, but g3 was played, and now after rook c7, she can't play b4. Maybe she can go knight a5 now, because now after b6, the knight on d6 wasn't attacked anymore. Anyway, rook a3 was played.
Yeah, rook a3, not a move that I noticed, but it makes sense. He's trying to kick out this bishop on d3. Because we really, anytime you have an exchange in chess and you have a possibility to make an exchange, you really need to think hard about it. And the problem with bishop c4 is really that after rook c4, as Anna pointed out earlier, we have this b4 idea. But look at this, rook d8, that's actually threatening. Well, maybe it's not threatening.
It's not a threat, yeah. It's nice. Usually there is such an idea, and very often it's missed, like rook d6. But rook take d6, you take d6, rook c4, and there is important move d7. That's why
exactly.
black can't take on d6 now.
So same thing, rook b3, allowing rook d6, pawn d6, rook c4, and d7. Of course, Sarah saw that and she played rook to d7, but we now have to keep checking the tactics. What about knight takes b7?
Yeah, knight b7, rook b7, c6, rook b3, c takes d7, and I think it's winning for white.
That's right, knight b7, big moment. Looks like it could be the second victory in a row, white winning both games for a tied match. Knight takes b7 was played.
Yeah, yes. She played it, and I mean, once again, we see that when it comes to tactical tricks, Anna O'Shane is very strong.
Yeah, this is really great. I mean, the tactical alertness, I have to say, I think these first 2 games bodes well for the quality of the match. I really feel like Sarah is stepping it up and playing well. Obviously, this game she's probably going to lose, but she defended pretty well, I think, for a while, and she played great in the first game.
Jennifer, it's never sure. I mean, until the game is ended, because anything.
That's true. That's true. Because she did play king f8. She didn't go into that lost position. But this looks horrible because the pawn on c6 is so strong.
Yeah, just knight d6 with the idea of rook b8 doesn't look good at all. Or rook
Yes, that's
b7 followed by b4, b5.
rook b8 being a threat. And there it is. White
To
actually
resign.
wins by resignation as Sarah wants to get a couple more games in. There is like 11 minutes left on the clock. So we probably will only get one. I don't know, actually. We might get one game, we might get two. It kind of depends on how long it goes. So maybe that's one of the reasons that Sarah resigned. She's very attuned to those things. Whoa, what's going on
Look
in
at
this
this
opening?
opening. It's very unusual. I didn't know the line and what's happening. Bishop c6. If white takes the pawn on c4 now, then h6, I believe, if there are no tricks with knight f7 or knight e6. She goes for it. So what she prepared for h6? Maybe she's going to play queen h5. That's really very interesting. Bishop e7 played.
Bishop e7, right? So now if queen h5, you have the opportunity to take the knight on g5.
What about knight f7 now? Knight f7, king takes f7, and d5. So then with some ideas of maybe discover check after e takes d5, e takes d5. I'm so excited about this game. So interesting.
Yeah, and now we know why you win so many best game prizes, Anna. You ready? Let's go. Knight f7.
I am more successful in classical time control. So, I mean, to win the best game prize, because in Blitz, it's not so easy. I mean, it's easy to make some easy combination, but some difficult, of course, you don't have time to calculate it all. She has been thinking for quite long and she didn't go for knight f7. So maybe she found some defense in that line. Now she's just a pawn down, no? Does bishop f3, queen f3 and c6, for example, or knight c6?
Well, yeah, at least we have the two bishops, but not enough. And indeed, that your line would have been some fun. Bishop takes f3, queen f3, c6. But is it really just a pawn? Does the white have anything here? I don't know, because I can't find any kind of attacking plan because you're just so solid with these pawns on c6 and e6.
Sometimes you have some breakthrough of d5, but here I don't have enough resources to do that. So
No,
I think
I don't think so. She's gonna suffer here. Maybe she'll have to develop her pieces and play for, like, I don't know, rook b1 and b4, b5. But it
so
doesn't look.
sad.
Yeah, yeah. Bishop d3. She's got another plan. She's gonna maybe play bishop b1, queen h3. The main thing that white has going for herself is that she's got the two bishops. So she needs to try to make them work in some way, keep this game interesting.
Yeah, she will definitely try to create some attack. I was even thinking about g4, g5 idea, but after the knight went to d5, it's not so useful. Doesn't look so useful. It's really difficult to create some attack. Maybe with rook f1, then followed by rook e4, rook g4. Still.
Queen h3, okay. So she's putting her queen on a really nice square. What I like about this square is that it's unassailable. It's hard for the queen to get attacked here because that bishop on c1 protects against knight f4 ideas. The problem is, after this solid g6, how do we increase our attack? By the way, knight h5 just rendered my point moot because now knight f4 is a threat. So we do have to stop that. We do not want to give up the bishop. What's that?
It doesn't allow us for knight f4, and perhaps does bishop b1. No, she played queen f3 back. Bishop
Queen
g5 now, maybe the idea, because black has placed their pawns so nicely with c6, e6, g6, so that the light squared bishop, white's light squared bishop looks sad looking at all these pawns and all these chains. So bishop g5, I believe it's a good idea, and it's also a typical idea for car constructors, even when there is the pawn on c2 as it is in Caracan, or c3 or c4.
Rook e5. She's trying to keep it interesting, thinking about the moment where she could take on h5, maybe right now.
Rook h5, yes, it's a very interesting idea. Just I'm not sure there was a mate, because I believe g takes h5 and then f5 or knight f6 was possible. Knight d5 was taken first, therefore.
Yeah, she took first, but she's still thinking about this. Rook takes h5. I mean, let's see. Now actually, Anna is sinking into a think, trying to figure out which pawn to recapture with, or even
Or
potentially
just
if
to
she
move the
wants to
bishop.
go back. Yeah, like bishop h6 or something.
Bishop
No.
h6 looks interesting, but bishop h6, you still have to be careful with the rook takes h5, because then the knight comes to f6, and it's already, you know, some dark clouds over the kings.
Yeah, big moment here. Bishop h6, rook h5, pawn h5, queen h5, queen g5 is on the
No,
board.
first you check on f6, rook
Yeah,
h5, h5, knight f6, and then after king h8, I believe there is queen e4, and there is no defense.
that's true. Yes. So she did recapture. She recaptured with the c pawn. So c takes d5, and now if rook h5, you were saying just pawn h5 and f5.
I think it's like that, and I don't
Yeah.
see how to continue the attack.
I agree. I agree, because then we're going to be compelled to take on c1. So she didn't do it right away, but now maybe she's considering it next move. So therefore, Anna did play knight to f6, and she just looks very solid here. Solid pawn.
h4, h5 idea, I like this idea.
Yeah, we got.
She's still trying to create problems.
Yeah, she's doing her best. King g7.
Maybe even g4 now, or something of this kind. G4 and then h5.
Yeah, you don't have anything to lose, right? Because if you just play normal moves, you're gonna lose because you're down a pawn and your opponent has control over the c file. So you got to just make it interesting. And queen g3 instead, threatening to play h5. So she's still angling to play this h5 move with the pawn on g6 now being pinned.
Yeah, also possible. What about h5 now? We obviously have to sacrifice the pawn not to care about it, because it's too late to care about the pawns. Queen f4 was played instead. Also makes sense, because now after queen b2, I think h5 is unpleasant.
Agreed. Threatening the h6 check, which would be actually devastating.
Yeah, and after knight h5, we again have this idea with rook takes h5, and then queen comes to g5. That would be dangerous. I don't think black would allow that.
I like this move, queen f4. You know, the great thing about that move is it's attack and defense at the same time, because we were defending d4 and threatening h5. So queen c7 was black's choice. Now what?
Queen c7 has a very important idea and a threat of playing knight d7. So white couldn't play h5 because of that, and therefore queen f3 was played, renewing the threat of h5. I think it's well played.
Yeah,
What
and what
will
about
black
knight?
do now?
Okay, h5. All right, white played rook g5 instantly. Let's see, still a 40-second edge now for Sarah. I'm really impressed by how she's fighting back here on the clock and on the position. I still think a black's probably going to win this game, but it could go either way. All three results are possible.
Yeah, it's not so clear, because all these ideas, for example, what about bishop takes g6 now? I think, no, maybe it doesn't work, because bishop d6, f takes g6. I thought about queen d3, but then there is knight e4 defending everything.
All right, knight h7, looking like it. Rook e5 played. I don't think rook h5 worked there. Too little. So she's just playing rook e5. But you know, you got to watch out for those bishop g6 tactics. That's right.
Also, you can put more pressure by playing queen e3 first. Not now because of knight g4, but just in general, or rook g5. They repeated the position. And rook c7. Okay, king g2. Or rook c8, perhaps.
She played rook e2. She's trying to remain solid because she's got an extra minute now. 24 seconds left for Anna.
It's not so easy to play this position with black, because you have to be careful with all these tactical shots. And you would love to trade the rooks or queens or any of the pieces, but it's not so easy. As black Must be careful with all that, and white is posing the problems. And also, only 13 seconds. What about bishop g6 now?
You just love to sacrifice your pieces. I love the analyzing with you. You're just ready to go. Bishop d6, if pawn g6, rook e6, and you're coming in with the rooks. If king
Then it's something
g6,
unclear. King g6, rook g5. Then white is winning, I believe.
exactly. So what do you do after bishop d6? I guess you
Uh,
have to try the pawn g6 line, but no, that just loses, right? I mean, rook e7 check and the knight on f6 hangs.
Maybe bishop g6, after g6, rook e6, queen f8, so that you defend the knight on f6. But then it's still very unclear, like rook e7 and so much activity. Yeah, rook e7, then
She's
queen
done
f4.
it. She's done it. Rook e7 check. Now, where do you put the king? Okay.
Queen
G8 was
f4.
the choice. Queen f4 angling to come into h6 or g5. Instead, she plays rook e6. This looks like a good move as well. Rook to
Rook
c6.
c6.
What
Good
do we do here?
defense.
That does look like a good defense. Rook f6 doesn't work. Rook
Queen e3.
Yeah, we got to keep pieces on the board. Queen e2, similar concept. And now we're threatening rook e8 now, right?
Rook 8 is a threat, but it wasn't played.
Yeah, you would end up getting the two rooks for the queen though. So instead she just played rook e6, queen e6, but now she won on time. So Sarah has gotten the score to 2-1. She's retaken the lead as white has won every single game in the match so far.
Yeah, it's so exciting, and this bishop g6 blow was super nice.
I love how you just looked at it. That's the thing about great attacking players. For those of you watching, they look at sacrifices every single move, even when they don't work. But guess what? That means when they do work, they can find them so quickly, right?
Well, you just have a feeling for that, and you understand it's like on your only chance. So the first thing you are looking for is just some captures and checks. So first you calculate that, and if it works, great. If not, you are trying to find some other moves.
Looking, all right. Well, this game looks a little bit more sedate. We've got a London system, and not as wild as the last position as white, where Osara had trouble castling, but the move knight e5 just played bishop d7. But it looks kind of nice for white already to me because this move h6 doesn't have the strongest impression.
Yeah, h6 has a big problem that it weakens the g6 point, even though it's not like attacked or whatever at the moment, but you may have some problems with this g6 pawn in the future. And knight f3, so she's bringing another knight to e5. It looks quite good for white, though it's cross-butt system, which is also very solid for black. Maybe just moving the queen to d6 or to c7. She moved it to c7. F4, maybe an idea here. What do you think about H4?
Yeah, I like the idea of just keeping pieces on the board. Bishop c6, that move, positionally it's good, but I was a little sad to lose my light squared bishop because it was such a star last game, right?
I wanted to keep
Sacrificing
that
on
bishop.
g6. Yeah. But here's the idea. She wants to really grab some of these key squares, but I don't know how easy it's going to be because Sarah just played knight to d7, looking to grab some squares of her own.
I think she wants to play e5 at some moment, maybe now.
Exactly. That's why she played king h7, first defending the pawn on h6. But now she's gearing up to play e5. And if she gets that move in with no problems, I mean, she could be even better.
I don't think she will be better, but I think that will improve her position because even after we trade everything on e5, white's structure is a bit better as we will have kind of 2 islands versus 3 islands of black. So it will not be better for black, but it will be close to equality in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. We have to check some of the tactics because if we play e5 also, there could be some tactical, like I really don't want to lose my bishop on g7, even if it's a trade, because it creates a lot of holes in my position. So if I can avoid that, that would be nice. And so, for instance, if we play e5 and you take twice and we're forced to take with the queen, then bishop d4 might be a move, whereas bishop e5 hangs the pawn on h6. So Sarah actually decided not to play e5 and instead is angling for the c4 square.
But if you don't go for e5, then you lack some space. With e5, you kind of open all your pieces and you have an easier play. I believe e5 was the right plan, though nothing crucial has happened.
Yeah, probably we could have taken with the bishop at that moment in time because h2 was hanging as well. The thing is, like, sometimes people just don't, in blitz, they don't want to calculate very much because they want to play quick moves, but it's all about choosing those moments, isn't it? f6 played, but boy, this looks dangerous for black. I know she's trying to get e5 in, but meanwhile, white is lining up her pieces for the attacks. He just played rook e3.
f6 was a very committal move, and I'm not sure it's good because you still can't play e5 at the moment, and another rook is coming to e1, attacking the pawn on e7. Also, there's an idea of rook h3 attacking the king. I don't like this move so much. It really weakens the king and the squares near it. What is she going to do now? I'm really wondering if she goes knight d7. Well, rook e1, then again e5 can't be played. I don't see a good plan for black.
No, this looks like a really rough position. I mean, not to mention that if we get rook e1 in and knight c5, knight e6, it'll be a disaster. Queen f5 played. Okay, rook e1, but what exactly is the queen doing on f5?
Not so much, but also it was really difficult to find some better move. The queen on f5, at least it doesn't allow white to play knight c5, but we can play rook e6 now. And it's another drawback of the move of f6 because they weaken this e6 square.
Yeah, you're right. After we play rook e6, then we can just play the quiet move h3, threatening g4, trapping your queen.
That's really nice. The rook e6 first. I think black can't defend the c6 pawn anymore, so this will be taken at some moment. And also h3 g4 idea is really cool.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make some love for my king. Nothing to see here, guys. Okay, h5 played. Anticipating that potential idea. Okay, h4 for white, and now a5, just trying to play quick moves as Sarah, because she's also down a minute on the clock. But really, it's her position that she has to worry about even more, because it's just so passive.
a4, Anna, just want to say that I can take this c6 pawn at any moment, because after rook a6, she has knight c5, I believe. Yeah, that's what she wants. Bishop c7. The rook is trapped after bishop c7. No?
Wow, nice spot.
Wow.
Bishop c7, just winning the exchange on the spot. Nice find. That's an unusual trap of the rook. Oof. Trapping, dominating the rook because that knight on c5 just controls so many key squares.
But she's taking her time. What maybe the other? No, she played bishop c7. So.
She played it, yeah. Nice. Oh boy, now, yeah, this is
hopeless.
Because not only when we take on b6, by the way, we are also taking on e7. So you can't actually just let me take there, I guess. And she's actually resigned. And the time's up in the 5-minute portion as we have a split match. This is what we love to see, Anna.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I really like the technique in the last game because we see that Anna didn't take it on c6 immediately, but she just made some moves saying that, okay, you have no move at all, just try to move. And when black tried to try some counterplay, they immediately blundered this exchange, and it was really nice. So black shouldn't have gone for a6. That was the main problem in the position, and I think they should have played e5 at some moment.
A really nice game. I think this one might have been, maybe it's the recency bias, but I really like this game. But then I also like the bishop g6 game and the fortitude and stamina that Sarah showed. So she's showing excellent fighting skills. Anna's showing excellent chess as well. We're going to be in for an incredible match. Don't go anywhere. We are going to be covering the 3-minute portion of this tied up match in the Women's Speed Chess Championships. And we'll be back in just a few minutes.
See you soon.
everyone, and welcome back to our coverage of the Women's Speed Chess Championships presented by Chess.com and FIDE, as we have a tied up match here in the 5-minute portion between Anna Ushanina and Sarah Kadim. Anna, what is your prediction in the 3-minute portion?
The match is very interesting. Up to now, it's 2-2 and no draws white on all the games. So I'm really looking forward to the 3+1 portion. I believe it will be more dynamical as there is less time. And I think we will see new result of games soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna go with the favorite, but I have to say, Sarah's been very impressive so far. I mean, the position in front of us is not that impressive, but that game where she lost a pawn with white and just she was so tenacious, you know, like it wasn't a good position, but she just kept the game going. Let's see how the first game of 3 minutes starts.
Yeah, she tried to pose problems, and in the end, she managed to win with a tactical blow. So the game has started. It's another knight f3 and c4 line.
Yeah, one of these ready type lines that people tend to love in bullet chess or really fast blitz chess because the moves kind of flow easily. We see the move d4.
Finally, d4 was played, so now we are more or less in the queen's gambit accepted. A normal pawn structure, a6. Will b5 be played now? b5 followed by bishop b7. No,
Bishop
she decided.
d7.
Bishop d7 and knight c6 is another typical idea, so everything looks normal. Though I preferred b5 because I like more active moves. I'm not sure it was better.
Well, queen f3 was played, and now after knight c6, we certainly don't want to just take on c6, allowing bishop takes c6 with tempo. I think she probably wants to play like rook d1, or no, then there's knight e5.
The 95 comments, so you have to be careful with that. Maybe queen f3 wasn't that precise because of this.
Yeah, maybe we have to take on c6 then and hide our queen out on h3, kind of similar to last game. Yeah, and she does go for that. Or
queen g3. No,
oh,
she doesn't.
she goes back to
Queen
e2.
e2.
Okay. Yeah, but this is a totally symmetrical position. So that's okay though. It's a 3-minute game. You know, as long as you stay ahead in the clock and have some ideas, it's okay. But total symmetry, it's hard to imagine that this is that great for white.
Queen a5 also looks very good. Maybe black is even a little bit more comfortable. First of all, psychologically, because you see that you easily equalize with black. And second of all, I think it's easier to build a plan, because I believe the knight on c3 may be a little bit misplaced in this position. I would prefer if the knight was on d2, then to move it to f3, then to e5 or d4. When it's on c3, it's kind of cut, and it's difficult to find some active maneuver. Also, rook ad1, but now you have to be careful with this a2 pawn because the knight from c3 can't move. She made bishop b1 idea. Rook d1 will be played, I believe. It's definitely that white cannot pretend to have an advantage, but
very different from our game so far because white's been scoring so well and getting good positions with the exception of the one that Sarah came back in. But here it just doesn't seem like there's much here for white. Queen d5, beautiful square for the queen, obviously threatening checkmate in one on g2. So Sarah obviously has to do something about that. She chooses f3.
f4 was kind of unpleasant because you also weakened the e4 square, so f3 looks normal. Then maybe e4 set up at some moment, maybe not immediately. Something like knight f2 looks normal. Yeah, knight f2 was played.
Yeah, knight f2 played, and now, you know, the idea of playing e4 later could get us into trouble because of bishop c5. Okay, knight d5 played by black. Looking at potentially bishop c5, e3 pawn.
Yeah, so maybe white has to play bishop d4 to defend the e3 pawn. some prophylaxis. But then e5 was the problem. So queen d3. What about if black goes bishop c5 now? Maybe now bishop d4. So queen d3 was a good move in my opinion.
Right, and what if we go bishop d6?
Bishop d6, attacking the pawn on h2 was possible. Maybe then knight g4
Yeah, maybe knight g4. So
would be.
she's like queen g6 here, offering a trade of queens. Knight takes e3 now is a threat, so white has to play either bishop d4 or knight d1. Knight d1 played.
Yeah, bishop c5, king f2.
Definitely the most likely game so far to be a draw.
Seems so.
But hey, it's a 1-minute game, and there's still 3 minor pieces on the board, so you don't call these things until they're over. f5 played, threatening f4. What about just king e2?
I think king e2 will be played because f4 is really unpleasant.
Yeah, and it's the only square for our king that continues to defend the pawn on a3, on e3. So it looks
Maybe
like we
just
have to play king e2.
maybe she's scared about maybe she's concerned about bishop b5, but then she has bishop d3, so I don't know why
Yeah,
she's taking too much time. She played bishop d4, but I don't like it because after bishop d4, it takes d4, you get this isolated pawn in the end game, and in the end game, it's not a strong pawn. It's definitely a weakness.
absolutely. And that f4 square potentially for black at some point looks so juicy with that knight. She played knight b4. Must be some kind of concrete idea. She's trying to reroute her knight to c6. I mean,
I think she just tried to attack the bishop, and now she went back. Maybe she can play king e7, king d6, just bring the king closer to that pawn.
yeah, she also has a time edge, 20 seconds on the clock. And here it is. I like this knight on f4. Notice how it highlights this pawn on h3 as a weakness. We'd love to have the pawn on h2 so that we could kick the knight out with g3. So this kind of functions as a quasi outpost. It's not a true outpost knight because there is a possibility of g3. But because of the pawn on h3, it functions the same way like an outpost knight.
Yeah, the knight on f4 looks really strong. And now she goes king e7, king d6. And after king d6, you have to be careful. What if king d5 now? How to defend this pawn?
Yeah, king
I don't know.
d5. Look at that king go. And whoa, she did play g3. Knight takes h3. g4 played king h2. The knight doesn't have any squares except for g5, but the
But
problem
it's
is
still
that king
enough.
on d4 is a monster.
Also, black is already 2 pawns up. So just king c3 taking another pawn looks like totally winning.
Yes, totally winning. Wait, what? Knight a4? Okay.
But she couldn't make the
And
knight
there it is.
easy one. Yeah, so that was a really good technical game by Anna. She outplayed with black. Really nice game.
Positional mistake, it seems, there with the move that you mentioned. You had a horrible impression of this move. Bishop d4, allowing bishop takes d4, pawn takes d4 with the isolated pawn in the endgame. No bueno. You want, actually, the whole concept of the isolated pawn is that you want it in the middle game with as many pieces as possible so that the space that the isolated pawn creates can be to your advantage.
Yeah,
But
you need some initiative and some active play with the isolated pawn, but in the end game you simply can't get it.
yeah, he must have been worried about king e2, bishop b5. But let's check in on this game because it looks very interesting. Knight g3, pawn g3. Knight g5 was a threat, so bishop g7 played.
I'd like to pay attention to this g5 move because it proves that Sarah is in a fighting mood and fighting spirit. So she really tries to bounce back in the next game. And yeah, but g5 is not the move that everyone will play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there's definitely some pros and cons in this position for black. I mean the pro is that we've got the 2 bishops, and the negatives is that we've got some weaknesses, and yeah, just it's a little bit difficult for us to know what to do with our king. I mean, we're going to castle kingside, but then there's some potential issues with that pawn on g5.
That's true. So I think black would like to wait until white castles first, and then they will castle their king to feel safer. Also, queen d6, queen e6 is a nice idea because if I mean, white couldn't play queen e2 because of bishop d3, and they had to move their king to f1. And now in this position, I would really like to transfer one of the knights to e3 and then to f5, perhaps. It's like a long route, but just something you may have in your mind when you see such kind of a structure, just how to do that. Well, queen d3 is now black. Oh, long castle. Long castle.
Wow,
That's
I wasn't expecting
dangerous.
that knight c5, queen d6, and now what about just queen
Queen
f5 check?
f5, taking the pawn on f7. I think the queen will not be trapped there, so queen f5 is possible.
Yeah, although then I do feel like my king on f1, there is potential for you to rest the f file and cause me some issues. But the problem is after queen takes f7, what do you do about queen takes d7? You have to play a move, and then the e6 square is mine as well.
Maybe because of that, long castle was kind of a blunder. Or maybe after knight c5, she could play queen f6, not allowing queen f5. I think she missed queen f5.
Queen takes f7. She has grabbed the pawn, grab and go, as White will try to win her second game in a row. Anna Ushinina, the favorite in this match. It was tied up in the blitz, but in the 3-minute portion, can she take down her esteemed opponent? Well, this looks really good to me.
If she wins this game, it will be like a big advantage. And
Yeah,
then,
very hard. A very hard overcome. Queen e6 played. Okay, she's taken the pawn and now she's happy to trade queens. By the way, shout out to Lily Karidze who gave us a raid. Lily, happy you're here. Let us know who you think's gonna win this.
oh yeah, thank you, Lily. Queen e6, I like this move. It's just very technical move. After queen e6, knight e6, then it's just easier to play. Therefore, queen c7, even if it's not the best move, it's still correct because when the queens are on the board, you can try to create more tricks. Queen e3, maybe rook e8 now, followed by e5, but then you have to sacrifice one more pawn on h6. A difficult position.
Yeah, very difficult for Sarah. This is a this 3-minute portion is going as badly as it could be for her so far. Rook to e1. Okay, so just solid. Continuing to, because obviously the one nightmare is if you somehow are able to open up the position with my king on f1 with a move like e5, but g4, where should we put our knight now?
Knight e5, also knight h4 was possible in my opinion. And now black should take the knight with the bishop. So we got rid of this weak. We got rid of this weakness on e7, but I prefer to keep the knight, not the bishop on the board, because the bishop doesn't have much to attack. Queen d4.
Yeah, rook on d to d8, and now what? Now how does white, the beautiful knight on c5, what do we play? Do we play pawn to e6? Yes, she did do it.
I thought about e6, but I wasn't sure if we should give this f6 square for the bishop. Maybe it's nothing serious.
Yeah, because you got to worry about knight d7 check. And there it is, knight d7 check, even without the bishop on f6.
Knight e5 and knight f7. Oh no, there is queen a6. Knight e5, queen a6. So it's not like white can win an exchange instantly. What about rook e5 now or rook d1, attacking the pawn on d5? I think rook e5 is even stronger because after rook e5 you can take with the rook on d5.
Yeah, and this knight on d7 functions so well to prevent you.
Yeah, we already see the second game. Yeah, once we saw the knight on d6, which was paralyzing all the position. Now knight on d7 is doing similar job.
Yeah, and I can already see, I can see some fantasy checkmating lines here too, where if we could get a rook to the, if we could play rook e5 and rook d5, sometimes we're going to have queen a7 with the idea that king a7 and rook a5 is mating.
Nice point, yeah.
Fantasy, we you know, I see that you're always looking for these sacrifices, moves in advance. it's useful because then when the time ticks down, you see these things pop up. Okay, look at this. Black trying to get counterplay, but it looks like white has a really good plan to just solidify, get her king on d2. Look at that queen on d4. What a gorgeous piece.
Yes, and also the rooks and the knight, they are so strong. A4. And what about bishop f6 now? E4, a5 was nice. Maybe queen takes d5 now? Yeah.
Yeah, just queen takes d5. Why not? And now you gotta
But
watch out for queen d8 check. That would have been winning. No, white's winning this, right? This is too much.
bishop 3 is a threat, yeah, so.
All right, rook h1, king h1. There is a time scramble, 15 seconds to 12 seconds.
That's the only chance for black.
Yeah. This e pawn is going now, and that's a big problem. And in fact, yes,
Another
Sarah
one for
resigned.
Anna. So 4-2, 4-2 is a bit too much.
4-2. And yeah, Yoruga says, this is curtains, and Jen knows what that means. Yes, that is my brother Greg Shahade's internet name. Still uses it in plenty of places. Although he's Greg Shahade here. Let's see, we got 15 minutes left. So, I mean, every comeback begins with a single win, right?
That's true, you have to win one and then it starts. So rook c1, white is trying to play very solid again. I think black is doing, again, very good. We may see another queen a5 move at the moment. And after a4, some b5. Now she played knight d4, attacking the bishop. Or what to do for black now? Bishop d7? No, she went for bishop d5. She prefers more active approaches.
Yeah, but she's looking really solid in these Queen's Gambit accepted lines, especially these last two games.
Yeah, we saw the last 2 or 3 games where she didn't face any problems. So this opening really suits her, and she knows where to put the pieces correctly and all the necessary plans. So she's doing great in this opening. Bishop a3 maybe played now, or rook c8. Now threatening bishop a3, you have to be careful because sometimes you just blunder bishop a3, and this may lead to a blunder of an exchange. Bishop e4 is also very nice because black kind of control better the central light squares.
All right, the bishop on b2 is strong, but you can try to counter it with bishop f6. By the way, we've getting questions about players who aren't in this leg. That's because you play 3 out of 4. So Tatev Abrahamian, a great aggressive American player. She is not playing in this leg, but she'll play the subsequent ones. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, Grandmaster Anna Muzychuk, who is our lovely co-host today, is playing in the 4th leg, right? So you played the first 2 legs and you'll play the 4th leg.
Yeah, I'll miss the 3rd leg and I'll play the 4th one. Queen a5 was played again renewed the threat of taking the pawn on a2. We just have to be careful with some moves like queen g4 because you are taking the knight on e4 and keeping an eye on g7 pawn. But after queen g4, she has knight f6, so no problems.
Right, yeah, and this kind of echoes like the other game that we had where she had no problems with black, and then Sarah made a positional error in the endgame, and she even ended up losing the game.
And now it's really difficult to play because if you play a3, then there is bishop a3 idea, so that after rook a1 we take on b2, rook a5, rook c1. If we play a4 at the moment, then perhaps knight d2 may be a problem. Or in general, after a4, you weaken the pawn on b3, and that's what you don't really want to do. At the same time, you can't play rook c1 because after rook c1, bishop c1, knight c3. And she played, wow, look what she did. Knight e6 is really nice. Knight e6, queen g4, and now h4.
Knight g5. So the idea was that we were threatening queen takes e6 check, forking the king and the rook. So this tactic came out of nowhere. F4 played. But what about queen d2 now?
queen d2. I was thinking about rook c2, but now I see it's not possible as f takes g5 and then queen e6 is coming. Queen d2 looks really nice. Maybe just bishop d4 after queen d2.
Bishop d4, right? And then maybe
But
just queen f5 played instead. Just
maybe there
trading
was
into
an
the
idea
endgame.
of queen d2, bishop d4, h5, because if you play h5 immediately, then queen h5, and there was a pin. So
But
she
here,
decided.
yeah, we're trading into the endgame, even material. Rook c2 possible here, though. So still something that white needs to worry about, right?
There is a sneaky idea of bishop a3 and rook f8 mate after rook
Uh,
c2, but you shouldn't take on a2 immediately.
yes, exactly. Bishop c1, though, instead played, let's see, bishop d4. Okay, but what's bishop doing on c1 now? Now it's just kind of sitting there.
I don't know, rook d8, bishop c3. I think there will be a draw in this game. Bishop h6, just some solid move.
That would be the first draw of the match, if it is indeed a draw. We can't call it too soon.
That's what I wanted to mention too. Yeah, all the games were decisive, and it's amazing that's not happening all the time. In fact, that's happening very rarely. Well, in Blitz, of course, many games are decisive, but not like this match where all the games were decisive.
Yeah, g6 played, and now rook c7, preventing a rook from coming into d7, which is that juicy 7th rank. Now, do think about the fact that there is the clock here, and because Ushanina has a 2-point lead, that might play into her factor of her continuing to want to play this, even though it's a draw. Is that something you think about a lot when you're playing these women's speed chess championships with the clock?
Well, obviously, you're trying to control everything like clock, score, and then play according to it. But I think Anna just tries to play solid this game, and she knows she's leading. So if she makes a draw, it's in her favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I just mean more that they're kind of playing like she's not going to offer a draw, because if the game goes on for like another minute, it's not necessarily bad for her, because it might mean that there's one fewer game in 3 minutes, which would solidify her 2-point lead.
Yeah, she would prefer to make more draws and to leave less time for Sarah.
Yeah, less time for future games, because we are kind of we're in that kind of bubble. Are we going to see one more 3-minute game or two?
First of all, we have to see how long this game will last, because I think
Exactly.
Sarah is trying to improve her position and she's kind of succeeding in it. It's not so comfortable to play this position with black. Yeah, king h7 and rook g7 was like a nice setup. Maybe a rook g5. Oh, she could play a rook g5 and then rook takes a5, just forcing the draw immediately. It's still
Rookie
rook
6, rook
g5? No.
g7, rookie 7, and it was a draw by repetition. Our first draw of the match, and we've got probably 2 more 3-minute games, judging by the clock. But it may be one if it goes really, if it's a long move. If it's a lot of moves. Sorry, and we've got a London.
Another London, yeah, bishop g5 we saw in the previous game, I believe. So will she play bishop g5 or will she go for bishop g3? Or maybe d takes c5 is also an option. Plenty of options. Oh, d takes c5 was played. g6. No, knight will come to b3, just protecting the c5 pawn. I'm not sure black had to give this pawn, because now it's not so clear how to gain it back.
A5, trying to play A4 and weaken that pawn, but just A4 played. Queen C7 hitting the other pawn on F4.
No,
And
g3 or queen d2.
Yep, just Queen D2. Now B6. Okay, so she's thinking that the knight on B3 is unprotected. So if pawn B6, Queen B6, that does hit the knight, but it just moves to D4 and everything is protected and white's up a pawn.
But she had to play b6 because she realized that she will not take the pawn on c5. So she played b6. Now she opened the line. At some moment, she will go rook b8, taking the pawn on b2. So that was the right plan, and maybe the only plan to create some counterplay. What about knight b5 now, or bishop b5?
She did play knight b5, sticking that knight on the open file in an anchor square, and now the queen on b6 and rook b8 don't have much scope. She's played bishop b7. We know that Sarah will try to fight back here. Last time she was down a pawn, she fought back miraculously.
f6 again. Last time she played f6, it wasn't a good move, and now I don't like it either. I prefer some rook d8, then followed by rook c8, some solid setup, and we see that for sacrifice pawn or for lost pawn, we have the advantage of two pair bishops. But after f6, I don't really like this move, because even after you play e5, f takes e5, f takes e5, you start to have additional problems with all these hanging pawns. Like just take, rook d1, or rook d1 immediately.
Yeah,
Doesn't
take
good
rook
to me.
b1. Knight c7 is always something, a force to be reckoned with.
Maybe rook d1 immediately is even better, because after take, there could be some ideas of bishop a6 or something of this kind. Now knight c7, threatening to take on d5, and threatening knight e6.
Exactly. That looks like a really strong idea. Note, guys, that if you play the move e4, you're weakening lots of squares. So it's not something that Ushanina is particularly concerned with. But I did think that knight c5 looked really juicy. And she was able to stop that with the move rook d7.
Knight c7, yeah, you meant. Yeah, now after rook d7, rook d1, you can't even play e4, because we can still take on e4. Though she preferred g3 first. Maybe rook d1 now.
Nope, she played bishop d1, looking just to play bishop to b3, pin that pawn on d5. But obviously, black's going to remove the pin at some point with king g7.
Yeah, the bishop on b3. I'm not sure it's so well placed, since you don't have b4 idea anymore.
Yeah, it looks like white misplayed that. I'm just still wishing many moons ago we played knight c7, because now black's two bishops actually have some impact in the position, right? I mean, the bishop on c5 hitting the e3 one, and you don't have a dark squared bishop, so you can't defend it. Yeah, this has not gone as well for white as it should have.
King f8, finally unpinning the king. Rook ad1, rook ed8. Maybe now it's not so easy to make progress with white, even though you're a pawn up, but black is very solid.
Yeah, rook
Still,
81, rook ed8. You see something?
no, I didn't see something. King e2 with the idea of e4 one day.
With the idea of e4, yeah. How are you
Uh,
gonna make that work?
e4 now isn't good, because d takes e4, and then rook d7, bishop d7, the bishop is coming to g4, so we don't have time to take on e5 first. It's really difficult to make progress with white, but the good point for white is that they are not obliged to win. They already have advantage in the score, so they could keep the position balanced, just trying to make some moves. But instead she went for g4, g5 idea. Looks
Okay.
nice.
So pawn takes f4, but that king on e2 could actually feel some heat.
King on e2, yeah, there will be some checks.
You know, you don't want to put your king on a light square and allow d4. Like, I'm just desperate at some point if I can get that bishop into the game. Maybe I can actually reroute it if I play. Okay, well, probably something's going down now. Bishop takes d5. Only 18 seconds left for Anna Ushinina.
Rook ed8, c4, then taking the pawn f4. She preferred to take on b5, but I didn't want to give this bishop pair advantage. I really preferred rook ed8. Now it's easier for white to handle everything. Rook e5, maybe rook d5, rook d8. So is it a draw? Should be a draw. g4, bishop f3. Maybe no, bishop f3. With bishop f3, she could just block all these pawns, and then the king couldn't come to f5. So now it's not so clear.
Well, I want to try to get bishop f5 in, right? And then force you to play g3 so that I can blockade those pawns.
The good setup would be to place your king on g2 and to put your bishop on e2. Then it would be a draw, but now I think it's winning.
Yeah, because that king's coming to the queening square as well, f3.
Yeah, now f3, king f4, g3. I think white can do nothing.
And by the way, 4 seconds left for white as well is the big problem here. I think that's why she lost this endgame. She never had a chance to kind of relax and figure out what the best defensive mechanism is. And there it is.
Yeah, Sarah won.
Narrowing the score to a 1-point lead for Anna Ushina, who is the favorite, but just a point. And we also, I think, get another game in.
Yes. I think it will be the last game in the 3+1 portion. So it will be really important how this game will be finished, because if Sarah wins one more game and the score is tied, it's one story and it's completely unclear. If Anna wins now, then she will likely win the match. If it's a draw, it's still unclear. So many things will depend on the result of this game.
Absolutely. And that was a buzzer beater, by the way, as I think we squeaked in this last game of 3-1.
Now she plays the knight on d2, which I really like more in this setup. a3, so bishop d2 now. I think she's doing well.
Yeah, better than her other whites, right? Like her other whites, it seemed like she got almost nothing, yeah?
She even got into some troubles in the previous games, in my opinion. And now she's the one who is pressing. a6. Yeah. What about knight c6 now? Knight
c6. Yeah, it looks like some danger zone here, because you do have to worry about your king here. That's the thing. This is not a pure endgame, guys. Just because the queens are off the board doesn't mean that you have no worries. Bishop b4 now. And
it's very, very unpleasant for black. Yeah. I have to take on c6, but these strong bishops and this huge activity.
Now, what would you do after king c6? Are you taking with a rook or the bishop?
I was going to take with the rook, then bring another rook to d1, then perhaps transferring the bishop e2, bishop f3.
Knight e5 and rook d6, guys.
Wow.
Right? Rook d6, we're going to win, yeah?
We win the pawn, though king d6, knight f7, king e7, knight h8, and then bishop b7, so the knight will be taken back. So white will be a pawn up, and it...
And can we do anything with that tempo? Like maybe we play knight g6 and cause you to have crippled pawns, or do we have a better move with our tempo?
To spoil the structure.
Mm-hmm. So that's what she did.
h4 was played, but what about rook c8? Rook c8, rook d8 maybe even more precise, because after rook c8 we could play bishop b3, just blocking this line, and the rook wouldn't come to c2. But now the rook is on d2. There is some counterplay before. But how will white improve the position now? I think we will have to play f3 at some moment. Then there may be the idea of playing a rook c3 followed by a rook d3. Maybe rook c3 now, or f3 first. Rook c3 immediately.
Are you trying to trade rooks here? You're ready to play rook d3?
Because this rook on d2 is very annoying. I really want to trade this active rook. And one more important point about the h4 move. In general, it's really useful for white to fix the structure, because potentially the g6 pawn is weak. If we attack it, then there is no g5. That's why h4 was played. So yeah, I really win this game.
I think so. She's also ahead, by the way, 1 minute plus on the clock, which is huge, especially as we go into the bullet portion. You just gotta go fast.
So there was a big problem in the opening from Anna's side.
And she's really tanking here as well, getting down to well under a minute.
I think she's trying to find the way how to keep the rooks, perhaps with king e5. She went rook a1 because if you trade the rooks, then it's even less chances to create some counterplay. But even now, it's very, very difficult. B takes a5, take on g6. It's already 2 pawns up. And now be careful with the idea of a4, bishop b3, and taking the pawn on a3. So maybe white has to play something like a bishop e8, not allowing a4, or bishop c2, more solid.
Yeah, bishop c2, and well, she's played h5 to start.
Bishop
Obviously, at some
c2,
point,
there was rook c1. That's why I was not sure about bishop c2. I think she wants to play h5, g4, g5, h6 directly.
yeah, I mean, you got to get them going at some point, right? But what about your move now, bishop c2? Now that the move a4 has been played, you still have rook c1, huh?
Yeah, there's still rook c. What? What
But
was
you've
rook
done
c?
that. What do you do now? Oh, maybe just play. Well, the thing is, when you move like bishop b3, we do have like rook d3 check followed. So we play f8, and now if you play bishop b3, we have rook d3 check in between move.
But if you move
So
the king to f6, like king e5, king f6, the problem is that white cannot unpin now.
well, we could play rook c5, but then what about king d6? Obviously, black would be happy with the draw here, right?
Also, king f6 is nice. I don't know how to unpin. I think bishop c2 was a blunder.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow, g4, bishop b3. And now it looks like you're going to win that exchange. And so she's gone for the pawns.
She really found a nice way, but I'm not sure about king d6. I thought Black would have gone for king f8, because now these pawns are very, very dangerous. Just g6, e4, even more precise.
Too dangerous in a blitz game with 2 seconds left. No, white is going to win because g6, and look at those pawns go. You can't stop them.
Just
Come on.
rook g8, yeah.
Rook
No,
g8.
it's a
And
really nice
wow.
idea found by Sarah with this rook c7 and giving the bishop for the g7 pawn. And I think Black shouldn't have given the g7 pawn because it was very important to stop this attack and white's pawn moving. So it was the last game in the 3+1 portion. Sarah managed to win the last 2 games to tie the score. And it's really amazing. So everything will be decided in the 1+1 games. And when it comes to 1+1, you can't predict anything, in my opinion.
You can't, but it's going to be wild. I mean, this has been a great match so far. 2-point lead Ushinina had earlier in the 3-1, but then Sarah came back. What an incredible match. Stay with us in this tied match in the Women's Speed Chess Championships, because we are going to be back with an even faster format, 1 minute chess with a 1 second increment. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Yeah, see you soon. We will come.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Women's Speed Chess Chance, where we have for you a tied-up match between Anna Ushinina and Sarah Kadim, as we have a thrilling match so far. I'm here with Grandmaster Anna Muzychuk to call the action, and we're underway, Anna.
Yes, the match has just started and it's tied at the moment, so everything will be decided in 1+1 games, and it's really exciting. And we see
That's right.
another game in the same line, which we just saw. So white again took the pawn on c5, and they'll try to prove that it's better than the bishop pair advantage.
Right. And by the way, Sarah's coming off her 2 wins in a row, and she's been very comfortable on the clock in those last couple games. And you know that is so crucial in bullet. And look at this. She's forcing Anna to think here as well. Oh, takes on c3. Okay, what's going on?
Intermediate move.
Intermediate move. Okay, now if we move the bishop, we take on d2. So she instead transferred to this position where white is still up a pawn, but those are pretty ugly pawns to be up.
And knight e5. I don't have much experience in bullet games, and I don't play them well, as some of our viewers could see. But I believe that it's better to have knight, because knights are kind of more tricky pieces and they can fork unexpectedly.
That's true. Knights are tricky in bullet. One of the important lessons in the bullet training sessions. Okay, so bishop d5, knight to d4, and f6. Look at this. Sora loves playing this move f6. I've noticed that. She's
Already the third time. And I think it's like the third time f6 was played, and the third time it wasn't good. Now, because of this tactical idea of knight c6, if bishop c6, then queen c6, and you take the bishop back. So we win the pawn by this combination, but not only winning the pawn, but also this e7 pawn is very weak.
oh, but she's taking on f4, but there's knight e6, winning in exchange. No, she's not going to have comp here, not at all, because e7 is also going to be hanging at the end of the line.
Yeah, this game definitely went wrong for black. Not just rook e7.
Yeah, just rook e7. I thought you might even just try to take with the bishop to at least avoid this.
Rook a7, another pawn. No, she just preferred rook e8. Queen e4, queen f4, or queen
Wow,
e8.
now queen
Better.
e4 winning because maiden two really. So Anna 5.5, 4.5 won that first bullet game. There's 7.5 minutes left on the clock. It's in this bullet in a tied match. It's all about hitting back.
But the first game finished very quickly, so perhaps they will play 4 games, not 3. Well, let's go one by one and then see how it goes. d4, knight d4. We already saw this structure many times today. Knight c3, a6, then followed by knight c6 and queen a5. You already know that. Queen a5 now.
She's played it.
Yeah, queen
e2. Rook d8, rook d1. And we noticed in most of these games, Sarah didn't get a whole lot, but here it's just about getting something and staying ahead on the clock. Can she do that and even the score? Bishop d3 played.
Bishop d3, bishop b1 idea. We also saw it today. I think she has to go e4 at some moment. Maybe e4, threatening a3 now.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because the knight doesn't have any squares. But instead she played knight e4, offering this queen trade.
Queen trade, but then bishop e4, and I think black has solved all their problems.
Right, but it's a bullet game. But even in a bullet game, it matters because you got to force your opponent to think, right?
In bullet game, it's important to control time and to control the position, because sometimes it's like everyone is just doing its plan and they don't care what your opponent is doing. Bishop d3. Can rook c7 be played now?
Yeah, get in there. Instead, she played knight to c3. Not sure where she's going there. I wanted to keep that open file, but
because she gave this bishop, so she must prove it was for something. Rook c7 now, okay. But now bishop d6.
And we're forced back.
Didn't work.
And now black's better because black has the two bishops. I know you like the knights and bullet though, but also the more important thing is 15 seconds extra on the clock for Sarah.
Sarah is doing well by time, but the position isn't so great. Anyway, it's a bullet game once again. Anything can happen. Now the knight starts its maneuver. Bishop c6, okay.
Yeah, she's just trying to hassle her. Rook to d1, bishop c7.
Bishop d3 was yeah, there was a bishop d3 idea, but it was missed. Knight d4. Take on d4.
She's gaining more time on the clock though. She's now got a 20, not a 20-second edge, but Anna's under 10 seconds.
Jennifer, that's so stressful. I mean, I played it 2 times and I can tell it's so stressful to play these bullet games.
Yeah. I mean, how do you get better at bullet? Like, what's the strategy? You just got to play more, right?
I think the most important yet is to get more practice and perhaps even have to take care about.
She lost
look
a
at that.
And Sarah's gonna win and even the score.
Knight b3.
I think it was a pre-move situation.
Yeah, because she just blundered. Oh no, king d3. Yeah, no, it's also she has 20 seconds versus only 5 for Anna. So that was an important win. I mean, I think white will win this game. Knight b6 and king c4 is coming. Now white just regroups the knight, knight a4, knight b2, knight g3, and we win the b4 pawn.
Yeah, exactly. And what is the clock now? Let's see.
Oh, so will we have only one game, which will be decisive, or will we have 2 games?
I'm not totally sure. Let me try to see what the clock is now. But yeah, we're definitely going to have a potential of a playoff. Now that would be exciting. I haven't seen that yet in this VChess Championships. I was with Robert the last couple of days. By the way, Robert is taking the weekend off to have some hiking, and so we miss him. But it's so great to have you, Anna, here, as you've played this event, so you know how stressful it is. And we're actually repeating the game 1 of this match.
And we see it's exactly the same line, and it's already 13 moves. I don't know why Black decided to repeat it, because they didn't have chances in the previous games. So if I was on Sarah's place, I would have played something different. But well.
Oh, I see the clock now, and it's a little over 2 minutes, I believe. So we probably will see another game. We'll probably see this game and one more, which is kind of good for us because it increases the chances of some kind of playoff, I'd say.
Yeah, queen d4, because in this game, I think Anna is controlling the position and controlling the situation very well. Maybe even f3 was possible, but rook e1 is even better, yeah.
Yeah, and look at that time also, 30 extra seconds. No, this is bad. She's going to have to try to come back to white.
Sarah had to change something in the opening, to change some approach, because this doesn't look good for Black, and it looked bad in the previous games. Just queen d5, knight c6, knight c6. This knight is jumping again, just eating all the pawns. Knight f5, rook d3.
C6 in the position again. Oof.
Knight f5 and rook d5. So it's 2 pawns up, yeah? Oh, knight e7. Okay, even better. Or maybe not.
An exchange.
What to do now?
So where do we
because
go?
Yeah, rook e2, then rook e8, and knight c6, knight a7, rook e8. Okay.
So we're still up 2 pawns.
Yeah, g3. Technically speaking, it's winning, of course, but when you have only 20 seconds, anything can happen. Just rook d4 and then move all these pawns. She doesn't want to take it immediately. Okay, but she has to take it. Just take it.
The other thing is, Anna, because this game is going on so long, this will probably be the last game of the match. So if for some reason Sarah was able to defend this, we would have a playoff. Whereas if Anna does win, as we expect she may, she'll win the match. This is it. It's a game point.
So maybe it's even strategically better for Sarah to resign and to start a new game quickly, because I'm not sure she will be able to hold this one.
Too late for that, though. That could have been a good strategic idea. I agree. But
I think the right plan for white is to bring the rook to e2, then play king g2, and then f3, and then to push f3 g4. She even went for king e4. Oh, where is this king going? Just check. King g7. Okay, she made it in an easier way, but I think black had to continue with the checks because now their queen is the f6 pawn and the f pawn will just... Rook f5!
Rook f5!
Wow, rook f5, what an idea on the last
King
second.
f5, it was stalemate. Oh my God.
Wow, what a nice tactical shot by Sarah. Rook f5, it was amazing.
And now we're going to have a draw and a playoff.
She played this game, so it will be... I think it will be the first match which is tied in the main period, right? So it will be the first match which wasn't decided after 1+1 portion. Amazing.
I can't wait.
So we will have another 2 games, right?
Yes.
Amazing. I didn't expect that.
Me neither. I mean, let me see. I think I can just go back to the moment for those of you who missed it, with this awesome shot. So after rook takes f2, it looks like rook f7 was an oversight, guys, because rook takes f5, beautiful, because king takes f5 is now a stalemate. So these stalemate tricks, man, they're just so useful. And how clutch was that, as this was the game point. If Anna Ushimina had won this game, she would have advanced to the finals.
Yeah, now it's not so easy from psychological point of view to come back, because I mean, you are ready just to win this game and to end the match, but now you have to continue and the score is tied. It's completely unclear what will happen, but what a match we are facing today. I think I came in the right moment because it's the most exciting match I am watching.
Yes, and we're going to play a 2-game match of a bullet, so 1-1, and we will see who comes out on top. I mean, wow, these players have certainly both deserved to win this match, but only one can, right?
Jennifer, may you tell our viewers about how these additional 2 games will be played? Will it be 1+1, or it will be different time control? And what happens if it's another tie, if it's 1-1 again?
There's an Armageddon if it is split, and that would be 5 minutes versus 4 minutes with a higher rated player choosing their color. Now, I should mention that our other match has started, but we are going to keep our eyes on this because, of course, it's a 1 minute for all the marbles to advance, and so they're off.
We start with another 2 games, 1+1. What a tough match. And finally, some new opening. We didn't have this opening today. So Sarah decided to change something in her lines, and I think it's the right approach for Sarah because she was not doing well, especially in her black games. Also in the white, she wasn't so convincing with Queen's Gambit accepted structures. And now it's a different opening, and she's attacking knight a4. And it's very unpleasant because knight d7 couldn't be played because the pawn on g7 was played, and placing the queen on a5 in the structure, it's not convenient. Also bishop c3, then followed by bishop c6. I think white already won the pawn.
That's right, bishop takes f6. Ooh, was she taking with the pawn? Knight c5, though. And off to a good start is Sarah.
Amazing what Sarah is doing. King h1, you had to be careful with bishop h3 idea, so she defended from that. Now there might be some bishop a6. Bishop a6, then bishop c5. So bishop a6 doesn't work, but you have to be careful.
Your idea is bishop a6, pawn a6, knight a6, forking the king and queen. You're always looking for those tactical sacrifices. Gotta love it. Instead, b4, with
Before
the
and
idea that
b5.
with the idea that
That's
knight
very
before rook
reasonable.
b1.
You just open the lines where your opponent's king is. Rook c5. Bishop e4, nice. Maybe bishop d3 now. Rook g1, some prophylaxis against rook g2 ideas, and now knight d2. I think bishop d5 will be played. Yeah, it was. Bishop c4.
Oh, look at this move, knight b1.
Knight
She's trying to play
b1,
knight
midnight
c3.
c3.
What a great move.
Queen h2!
No! Queen h2. Wow, what a great checkmate. Oh my
That's
God,
the
I'm so mad.
idea you see in all these tactical books, Queen h2 followed by Rook h6, and this idea of mate. I mean, but it's a pity for Sarah because in this game she's actually winning and she lost.
What a great trick by Anna Ushina. I did not see that coming, I have to say, because Sarah was just looked like she was crushing it. A corridor mate, queen h2, king h2, rook h6 mate, beautifully done. And now it's game point. Sarah must win this game with black, but she's actually had struggles with this opening with black.
And
I
she's
wish she
playing it
played something
again.
different. I wish she played something different.
Me too. I don't think it's the right approach because it's not like she's getting the good position and then she's losing, but she's even getting the bad position, and why to repeat it? If it doesn't work for you.
And don't forget that white only needs a draw in this game. Not that draws are that typical in bullet chess, but still it's relevant to remember that if there's ever any kind of perpetual or simplification,
You can just take it.
Yeah, take it with both hands.
And Jennifer f6 was played again. I think the warning sign.
She is so brave. She's very young, 23 years old, great talent. And somehow she's able to make this f6 move work for her. But to me, it's like, it makes me cringe because you create so many weaknesses. But
Yeah,
the reason she often plays this move is that she's trying to get e5 in. She's trying to make some space in her position.
Yeah, she never managed that. And I think in this game, it doesn't look she will be successful because white is just very, very solid. And the pawn up.
It's positional domination. Yes, I mean we have control over the E file. The E6 square screams out to me as well.
Queen e6 now.
Yeah, Queen E6, and this endgame is just so dominant. And black has to win this? No.
I don't know how to win that. Knight d4, knight b5, c7. The rook on f7 is totally stuck. It's out of the game, basically. So just c7, rook b5, rook f, and your rook, or even just b8.
But simple chess is also possible, and we're just ready to queen our pawn and take yours in between for good measure.
King f7, so she's trying to bring the rook back into the game, but it's a bit too late. Maybe c7, king e6, rook f8 now.
Yeah, I was wondering if rook f8 even worked, but no point in calculating that when you don't really need to. Okay, rook e3. And now knight f3 threatens knight e5, yeah. Rook e5 possible here, but she just took with the knight.
She can just play rook b7, take on g7, and she will never lose it.
Yeah, she could offer a draw.
Draw wouldn't be accepted, but she can just keep on moving. Rook e7, rook d7. g5, it's not good because now
look at that! Did you see what just happened?
Yes!
Pre-move! She pre-moved rook a6!
Oh my god! No!
She forgot! Oh my god, and black wins the game! Oh wow, we gotta look at that before we see what happens. Okay, so h takes g5, all white needed was a draw. You so intelligently predicted that white couldn't offer a draw because black would refuse it. because instead she had this incredible trick after rook a6, rook a5, hoping for a pre-move, and her prayers were answered because white had pre-moved king f3, and then she just snapped off the rook, and black wins the game.
Yeah, on one hand, it's a pity because it's not about chess, right? With all these pre-moves, it's not good to win the game in this way. On the other hand, if you are fighting, sometimes it's paid, so you have to find it till the end. And it's Armageddon game, right?
It's an Armageddon game. That is right. So that means that Sarah's got 5 minutes and Anna's got black and draw odds. God, I think I'm happy for Sarah that she has white because she's had so much trouble with the black pieces.
Yes, with white, she did more successful, but we see that they continue blitzing, while maybe it's not the right approach. Obviously, you don't have much time, and you can't, change your instincts very quickly and change your mood. But with 5 minutes, you have to think and to. I mean, you have time to think, so probably you should have taken more time.
Well, Sarah's been so tricky, Anna, with the stalemate trick, the pre-move trick. God, she's got some bullet skills. She has got some bullet skills, but this is it. Armageddon, must-win situation with white. Bishop b4, targeting the b7 pawn.
Rook c1, bishop f3. They are both playing very quickly. They are still like in this bullet mode. Oh, what to do now? Knight e2, trying to ruin the knight to c3. Bishop b3 is good. Knight e2 back, bishop d5. We already saw in a couple of games that black managed to trade these light squared bishops and they were doing well after that. And I think in this position, it's again, everything's already okay for black. They can play f5 as they did, or f6, king f7 is also nice. This king f7, e5, king e6 looks very solid.
Yeah, black only needing a draw.
So I'm waiting for a new trick from Sarah because otherwise I don't see how to win this game. e5, unless Anna doesn't blunder anything, she must hold this game, at least.
Yeah, Sarah's trying to play for, I guess, knight g3 and knight f5. She's played f4 instead. I mean, she's trying, but the problem is black has play as well. It's not like white had some huge advantage that justifies playing for a win. So anything you do, black will reply to with energy. And I love that Anna Ushinina knows that in order to play for a draw, you sometimes have to play for a win.
That's true. If you play for a win, you may be even more successful than if you play for a draw. But here we already see that black kind of offered the move repetition. Why didn't want that? Rook c7. Just rook d7. I mean, something safer. Take on c3 now. Or knight a4 is even better, yes.
Yeah, knight a4, and unfortunately for white, she's in a must-win situation. By the way, Anna got to choose. The higher rated player gets to choose what they want in the Armageddon game. That's the role here. So Ushinina, I think, just felt like Sarah wasn't always getting that much with white, so she thought this was the right choice, and it looks like she's getting rewarded for it.
Yeah, looks like taking black in this game was the right approach. And she is playing very, very safe. She's trying to trade the pieces. She already won one pawn. Just bishop f. She preferred even g6 now. The bishop on a1 is very passive. Also, there is the weakness on b4. So it looks very hopeless. But I mean, we have seen so many games by Sarah where she managed to find something when there was no chances. So I don't want to say anything before this game is finished. Bishop d4, knight e4 idea. She could take it immediately, maybe. But anyway, it's already very good. She can also try some rook b3.
Amazing recovery by Anna Ushinina after this horrible loss when she was just about to secure match victory. This sad, I mean, when I say horrible, I mean it's painful. It's
Yeah.
painful. Like, I mean, just you can imagine, but here she is, and it looks like she's recovering in style.
Yeah, she's good in this. She's psychologically very strong. Some players could collapse because it's really a huge blow when you lose a winning position. But it's not about Anna. Anna just keeps on playing, keeps on fighting, and she's trying her best in every game, trying to forget about the previous game if it went wrong. And we see that she's winning this game, so she's very likely to win the match.
Yeah.
Although,
I think Sarah, it played so incredibly in certain ways, but in this game, potentially she played a little bit too quickly because she still got 2.5 minutes on the clock, and that was actually one of her advantages, the time. But she didn't get much out of the opening. A lot of trades were executed. I feel like maybe slowing down at some point and just trying to keep more pieces on the board. But here we have it. Rook e2 check winning the knight on e5. And there it is. Anna Ushinina, she does advance in an epic battle here in the Women's Speed Chess Championships. Incredibly well played as well to Sarah Kadim.
it was a very exciting match, and finally it's over. Congratulations to Anna, and congratulations to Sarah for her fighting spirit, for her finding the chances. I mean, it was really amazing. Thank you, girls, for such an exciting match.
Indeed. And, I think my takeaway is that Sarah is just an incredible talent because can you imagine if she had a lot of different openings? It seems like her opening repertoire, if it was more expansive, she would just be an incredible force to be reckoned with in Blitz because she has so many great practical skills. And being that she's only 23, I imagine we'll see that from her in the future.
Yeah, I believe she will still improve, and especially if she improves with black color, because we saw that today in many games she couldn't have a good position out of the opening. And when you're starting to fight in the bad position, your chances are lower. So she has to change something in this direction.
Yeah, have more flexibility in the openings, I think, especially in these blitz matches. But here we go. No rest because we have another thrilling match in store between two such incredible players. We have Valentina Gunina, an incredible attacker against Katerina Lano, who had a dominating score yesterday against another very strong player, Zansaya Abdumalik. She ripped through that map. So she actually started this with a win. Anna, they did start playing because we went, so over in the other match. But now, is Valentina going to even the score? What do you think?
Yeah, we see Katarina won the first game. I don't know what happened in the first game because we were following another match. And Katarina is doing well. She's a pawn up. She has two bishops pair. But she has to be careful because this bishop on d4 may be pinned by rook d1. So rook d1 is a threat, and also sometimes bishop e7 may be the threat if you move the bishop, for example, somewhere to a7. Then be careful with bishop e7 idea because rook takes e7, knight f6. Again, this knight can create many troubles. Maybe actually white is doing okay after queen f4 because it's not clear where to put the bishop. If you put it to a7, as I mentioned, then bishop e7 is the idea. If you put it on h8, for example, then knight b6 is coming. So I'm not sure what to do. Maybe, what do you think? Do you see any ideas?
Where to put that bishop? What about just leaving it there for now? You're gearing up for rook d1. So bishop d3 played. So she didn't do anything with the bishop, but you were worried maybe about like rook d1 here, rook on c to d1.
Rook c to
And
d1, yes.
now rook c3 would fail to bishop b2, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's not pleasant. Queen c4. We have a rook c1 at least.
Right, but we were just there, so you could go back. Instead, she played knight e5, queen e5, running queen g7
Rook
mate.
d3.
Rook d3.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Wins a piece. queen d3, queen g7 mate.
Yes, I felt that black had problems, and I didn't see how to solve them. Maybe there was no way, and
And there it
Katerina
is.
resigned.
Valentina Gunina has tied up the match. While we're still in the 5-minute portion, I want to give you a chance to talk about these two incredible players as you've played them in many games. Who do you favor based on your experience playing against these grandmasters?
I have played so many games with both Katerina and with Valentina, especially with Katerina, because we raised up mainly in Lviv, as Katerina lived in Lviv for a very long period of her life, and we played many tournaments here in Lviv and in Ukraine in general, and we were always like fighting who will be the champion of Ukraine, then who will be the champion of Europe, and who will be world youth champion. I mean, it's first we started with youth tournaments, and then these encounters started to be in the women's fields. So, I mean, we have played, I don't know how many games with Katerina especially, but with Valentina also many games, because we were always fighting also at all these European and World Youth Championships. They are both 1 year older than me, but once again, we still played in the same category many times. And I have to say that these players, they are very different by style. Valentina is trying to trick her opponents, and she's very good in all these tactical shots, while Katerina in the classical games, she's trying to play very solid, while in the blitz games, I believe her style is a bit different, and she's also trying to play very active games, though she's much more solid than Valentina. So this match will be really interesting, like who will be able to trick and whom. We had Caro-Kann in this game, and Caro-Kann with the first move, knight f6. This is kind of a new fashion, and the line, which is considered to be very solid for black. I think black is doing well in this position, and the good point about this line is that it's quite easy to play with black, because you are the part who is attacking. For example, we brought the knight on e6, then we are trying to put pressure on the d4 pawn, and with white you always have to be careful with all these ideas.
Yeah, A3 played. I see what you're saying here, that it's like so solid and a little bit easier to play with black, whereas white has to kind of figure out where to bring the energy. Bishop C7 played, by the way, with the idea that in certain circumstances, bishop B6 could be a good move, hammering on the D pawn. But right now, actually, it's even simpler than that. Bishop F3, queen F3, knight D4 is the idea, just winning a pawn. So what do you do?
A3 was played with the idea so that not to allow bishop b4, but with the bishop c7, they renewed the threat of taking the pawn on d4, so I think it's a good move. And it's the question, because maybe you have to play g4, but it's the move you don't want to make in the blitz game, because to weaken the king is not what you want to do. So, but how can you defend this pawn another
Otherwise,
way?
I mean,
Maybe bishop e2, but bishop e2 is very passive, and once again, you don't want to play that. Maybe even bishop e2 doesn't solve your problems as... no, bishop e2, g4 was played, okay. She finally decided to go for that, but I think she wasn't happy to make this move.
no, she wasn't thrilled about it. This weakening move doesn't really do anything. And ooh, look at this little box of pawns. That's an unusual pawn
Cute!
structure. Yeah, it's cute. Yes.
But after
That's an
g5,
adorable pawn structure.
after g5, you kind of can create an outpost for your knight on f4, or start with g5 and then first put your bishop on f4 and then try to put your knight on f4. Queen d6 is also fine. D5, c takes d5. C takes d5, now just knight f8.
Yeah, knight f8. And where are you trying to reroute that knight to? D7?
Maybe g5 and knight g6.
Knight g5. I like that idea. G5, knight g6. Then knight h4 is in the offing. It said she's played knight d7. Now she's maybe looking at c4 square, but the thing with the d5 pawn and the c4 square, the combination of attacks on those 2 points.
I think now she wants to concentrate on the d5 pawn because it may look like it's strong pawn, but it's very difficult to advance it. So if there was a possibility somehow to move the queen from d6 and then move the pawn to d6, then it's fine. Otherwise, after rook d8 and knight b6, you have to take care of this pawn.
And by the way, you were spot on about the practical implications of g4 and the position in general, because Valentina has amassed a huge time edge. And I think that's just because the onus is on white to do stuff, and black just has simple moves to improve their position. So yeah, it's a very difficult situation to be in blitz.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned in the beginning, that in this line, I think it's easier to play for black, and with white, you always have to be careful with all these threats. You have to think if you want to play g4, which you don't want to play, or what to do in general. Rook d1, I think Katerina is just improving the position of her pieces. King g2 is also a useful move. And now we have to think maybe queen c2 and bishop c5.
Queen c3
Queen
chose.
c3 with the same idea.
I wasn't sure about the move a6 because it weakens my control over like the b6 square. But maybe it doesn't really matter because we still have so many pieces on that square.
Maybe black can still play bishop b6, not allowing bishop c5, and if white takes on b6, then knight b6, making it difficult to defend the d5 pawn.
Yeah, and still, yeah, I like that idea. Bishop b6, or what about knight b6? Then you have bishop c5,
Then
right?
bishop c5, I was concerned about that. I didn't know what to play after bishop c5, and then d6 is coming, perhaps. I would have played bishop b6. Looks nice. Because, for example, bishop b6, knight b6, rook e8, rook e8. And after queen c5, I still have rook d8, and then I continue attacking the d5 pawn.
By the way, they must have played long games because it seems like this is going to be the last of our 5-minute games. We're only going to get 3 of those.
Sorry, the last one for 5+1 period. Yeah, bishop b6 was played, knight b6 now. Maybe queen c5 immediately. Now Katerina decided to take it first.
And now queen c5 and then rook d8.
Rook d8, how to defend the d5 pawn.
Exactly, because I'm also threatening just queen c5, pawn c5, rook d5, and your rook on d1 is in capture.
Also, an important point is that after knight d5, sometimes you will have the tricks with knight e3 and knight f4 after all, because the king on g2 and the rook on d1 is unprotected.
Difficult situation for Katerina Lana, who's going underneath 30 seconds soon. She's at 35 seconds.
Very unpleasant situation. I still think she has to trade the queens because her king is weaker, and then try to defend it somehow. Maybe just taking on d6 and playing rook c1. Still after rook c1, knight d5, you can't play rook c7. I don't know what to do. Rook c1 immediately.
Rook c1, knight takes d5, indeed. Queen d6, rook d6, transposing to your idea.
Not just rook d7, g5, knight f4.
Nice idea. That jewel box of pawns has served us well, but now it's time to advance one of them. But she found a different idea. Knight to c3, but also knight e2 check to f4 is in the offing.
Or knight b5, trying to attack the new targets.
But no, she heads to f4. But now we can't solidify it in the same way.
Knight f4, king g3, how?
Exactly. Because we didn't have earlier we had that g5 move that you intuited to play earlier, and now we don't have it anymore. Because white played g5.
It looks like this maneuver wasn't so cool.
Rook d3
but
though.
rook d3, yeah, now she pinned the knight, and this pin is very unpleasant.
Very, because we're threatening knight d4, right?
Look at time, Katerina has only 4 seconds.
And knight f4 check.
King g3.
Right. And then
Knight
knight. So she's just taking on a3.
She's just taking, yeah, just king g7.
Well, there's
No,
rook
or
h3.
just king g7. Oh, she went f5. Okay, king g7. King g7. I'll insist of making this move. We can take on h4 now, rook h3, and taking on h4. Knight e2, knight e2, and rook b4.
Up 3 pawns. I lost count. 4 pawns. The time is up in the 5-1, and it looks like Valentina headed towards a 2-1 lead.
Good game by Valentina.
Yeah, very nice. Very nicely done. But it's not over yet. We remember in Sarah's games, we saw some weird things happen. So got to keep looking. But look at this, rook d1 and rook d2.
And knight e2, even, or knight h5, the same.
Nice. And now we're just, is there any stalemate tricks here? No, I just don't see any, because that g5 square is open as well as the third rank. And there it is, Valentina Gumina with a 2-1 lead as we head towards the 3-minute portion of this match, which I think is going to go down to the wire because they're both so good.
Yeah, they're both very good blitz players, and they are doing well in this tournament. So I think this match will be also very unclear. So we are looking for 3+1 games.
That's right. But will it be as close as the epic match between Ushinina and Sarah? Well, you'll have to wait and see. We'll be back in just a few minutes for a 3-minute jazz. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Women's Speed Chess Championships. I'm Jennifer Shahade. I'm here with Grandmaster Anna Muzychuk for a thrilling match. The day has been so incredible, Anna.
Yes, we are following a really exciting chess today. We had a very interesting, thrilling match between Anna Oshanina and Sarah Hademal-Sharih, and now we are following another exciting match between Katerina Lagno and Valentina Gunina. The score is 2-1 at the moment in favor of Valentina, but it's just the beginning and anything can happen.
Oh, yeah. As we see the blitz ratings of the players are so close, and we're starting off with an English. Valentina, don't let that English fool you. She is a very aggressive player, ultra aggressive. I would say one of the most aggressive players in the circuit.
That's true, and Valentina is well known for her tricks and for her attacking skills. And Valentina started this game with c4 knight of 3, the English, but she is also known to be an e4 player. She started with d4, so it's real unclear how she will start the games when she's white. Let's see what she prepared for these games.
So d5 now, and we can transpose this to some kind of more Carol Khan-like situation with queen b3.
Yes, it's the line. It may also be transposed from another line, e6, so we are still in the theory. Now there is bishop c4, bishop b5 is also the line.
Bishop e5 chosen, and now bishop g7 quickly played. As obviously Katerina needs to castle, but what to do now for white?
The main line goes something like castling, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, knight a4, bishop g5. It's also the possibility, but bishop g5, I believe, according to the theory, doesn't pose many problems for black. But if you don't remember the lines, it's also unclear.
Yeah, bishop d5 played immediately, indeed. And
yeah, now black can go with f6 or with queen d6. I believe both moves are okay. Queen d6. The problem of queen d6 is that sometimes you may face knight e4, which is a bit unpleasant. Knight e4 was played.
knight e4 played. Now, do we have time to play queen b4 check here? Queen takes b4, knight takes b4. The problem is you do have knight d6 check, and that looks pretty juicy.
In general, black would like to trade the queens and to go for an endgame because, as we saw in the match between Anna Oshanina and Sarah Hadem, that when you have an isolated pawn, you prefer to keep the queens on the board and to have initiative. But here, yeah, knight d6 was the problem, and it's the right approach because if black only had one tempo more and they could castle, their position would have been excellent. And now they have to place their king on f8, and it's a bit inconvenient because then you need more time to bring the rook from h8 into the game.
Yeah, king f8 was played. Now king e2, stopping the fork on c2, and I agree. That was a nice development for white, getting that check in and forcing the king to f8. Now after a6, I'd rather not trade the bishop because that saves you some time. So maybe just play, but you did, because I guess anywhere we went, you were going to gain a ton of tempos. That was the problem.
Yes, I think she wanted to play concrete chess, and now she will try to push d5 some moment and to exploit that the king is on f8 and black isn't fully developed at the moment. G5, active play. G4 now? What?
King
I thought
e7.
about king e7, trying to bring the rook from h8 into the game. So her next move is obviously rook d8. And white has to come up with something, and they have to do something very quickly because if they wait some time and give black one or two tempos, then it will be a problem. So knight c4 with the idea of knight b6. I like this move.
knight b6, nice idea. The rook would be forced to a7. So bishop d7 play, but now bishop d6 check. Look at that in between move, destabilizing the king. I really don't want to go to the back rank. Can I go to f6?
Maybe you should even go to f6 because after king e8, knight b6, you can't play rook d8, as after bishop c7, the rook will be trapped. So, but the same idea may also happen after king f6, knight b6, rook d8, bishop c6, bishop c7.
Exactly. So does that mean we have to play king e8? Same thing too. But then at least our bishop is defended by then. Oh no, I'm just losing. I think
Maybe
I think that variation works in every line, right? Except king d8. King d8, because then the c7 square is not available to you, right?
King d8, knight b6,
b
but anyway, you have to place your rook on a7, and that's very bad news if you have to put the rook on a7.
It is, but we have to. And
Oh,
rook to
no.
a7 played after king e8 and rook c1. You know, it's funny how even knight e5 here, because if that knight leaves, then bishop e8 will be winning the rook on a7.
Now there are just knight d7 and bishop e8.
Bishop
When
e8,
exchange
indeed. And there it is, 3 in a row from Valentina, who's now got a great lead in the match. Katerina did win the first game, but since then, Valentina has been on a roll.
And once again, you are watching the same line with knight f6, bishop d6, castling. Will we see the box again?
I don't know. That was a nice little jewel box. It worked out for Valentina, that's for sure.
So
C3.
knight
This
f8.
is so hard. It's like a rock, you know? You're so solid. So difficult to figure out how to break through. You feel like you're better for white, but it's frustrating. It's banging your head against a wall.
Valentina played queen d6 and bishop e6, but another idea in this line maybe playing bishop e6 followed by queen d7 and then some ideas of bishop h3 sacrifice.
No, Valentina would never think of that.
No, Valentina is the one who will think about that because she likes such things, and especially when there is something, well, when there can be something near opponent's king, then she immediately is like,
I know. I was kidding.
very excited.
I got a chance to call her games at the Karen's Cup, including the first one where she just, ripped through the field with such brilliant attacking games, and you really got a sense of her very unique style.
Yeah, Valentina's style is very special, and I think she was thinking about making knight h4 working. And if the rook was on f1 instead of e1, knight h4 would be a brilliant idea. But with the rook on e1, it doesn't go because after knight h4, white can still take on h4, and queen h2 is not the mate, as white can still play king f1.
Exactly, yeah, and then you're just left down a knight and with a couple pawns. Not even a pawn, really, because the knight on h4 protects everything. Indeed. So b3, a5.
So maybe she was thinking about whether she should play a4, activating her rook on a8, or if she shouldn't do that. She went for queen d7. You see, she went back to this idea with bishop h3. Now be careful with bishop takes h3.
Well, Katerina was careful because she just played bishop to f1, nipping that in the bud. Bishop d6, though, and now bishop b4 is a threat. And white's pieces look a little jumbled up. d5. Okay, but we have time to play bishop f5, and now the threat of bishop b4 is now renewed.
You couldn't play bishop before immediately because d takes e6 was in between. So bishop f5 is okay. And now rook ac8. Rook e4. Rook b4.
Wait, what's going on? What do you do with your queen? What do you do with your queen?
I don't know.
What do you do?
I don't know. It was suddenly trapped.
How'd this happen? Rook b4, and it looks like Valentina's going to win 4 in a row against such an esteemed opponent. Whoa, A4. That doesn't help. You're down a queen for a
Yeah, but
rook.
it's only the rook for a queen, and it's not enough, not at
No,
all.
she should resign ASAP because Katarina is such a strong player. She still has chances to win like 2 3 minute games in a row, and have a chance. You
But
got to
maybe it's
just
better to
resign.
maybe better to resign this one and to have more time in the next ones. And you see, there is a difference between me and Valentina. I wanted to play more solid, some moves are like rook c8, while Valentina doesn't have time for these moves. She plays rook e4 immediately, and then suddenly after queen b6, she found this idea of rook b4, and the queen was trapped. Amazing.
Amazing indeed, especially because you're remarking on how aggressive she is, and you're known as such an aggressive player as well. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, I like to attack. In general, I am more like an attacking player, but I am also much more solid than Valentina. I prefer first to put all the pieces the way I want it, and only then go for some attacking, for some combinations. While Valentina, sometimes she doesn't care, she just go directly. And it works, especially in Blitz.
It sure does. Well, it's working out for her now as she's looking towards increasing her lead to 3 points. Now, I will say this, like Katarina seems a bit tilted, so maybe she's playing a few more moves just to kind of relax a little bit. She knows she's going to lose this game. There's still a lot of time left on the clock, not that much. But I do think that that might factor into it because it hasn't really been helping her these quick games. And look at this bishop c2. More material is going to be swiped off the board now.
Bishop d2, or sometimes there are knight f4 ideas. Anything looks good.
She did just capture on d2, and now bishop f4, hitting that rook on g3.
And then knight b4, winning another piece. Oh,
Knight
yeah,
b4 indeed. And don't forget rook e8 is going to be threatening rook e1 mate. Well, there's
that's
bishop
true.
f1, never mind. But yeah, it'll look really ugly. And there it is. You did
So Valentina,
resign. Wow, 4 in a row for Valentina Grunina. We have 18 minutes left on the clock. I think that's going to be about 3 games. So the pressure is on Katarina. She's got to get +1 or +2 to stay in this match. And we got a Grunfeld.
Grunfeld. Grunfeld is exciting, yeah.
Grunfeld with bishop d2, not the most typical line, the idea of taking on c3. Normally there would be a pawn that had captured on c3. Instead you have a bishop. So the pawn structure is a little bit harder for black to crack on, but then at the same time, it's a little bit less exciting for white sometimes as well, because you don't get as formidable of a center.
Bishop d2 line is very popular among the girls because I'm a Grunfeld player myself on the black side. So I face bishop d2 line quite often. Here we see the line with bishop g4. It's one of bishop g4 and knight c6 is one of the possible setups. And I like this position because for black, it's easier to play it. I believe as your king is safer, and when it comes to the blitz games, you prefer to have your king safe, to have the knight on the board, and here you have everything. It's not like black is better in this position, but for the blitz games, I think it's good to play this position with black.
Agreed, agreed. It's always difficult. You know, it's funny, it's a theme, and sometimes with black, even if you're worse or equal, some of these positions we've been saying easier to play with black. We said the same thing about the Caro Khan that Valentina keeps getting.
So I think it was a good opening choice by Katerina Lagno and the good opening line.
Doesn't sound like you're super impressed by the bishop d2 variation of the Grunfeld.
No, bishop d2 is a very good line, and it was played by many strong players. It was played in an Carlsen match long ago. So it's a very serious line, and also in the candidates tournaments we saw some games with bishop d2. So it's not like a bad line, but I was speaking just about the concept of playing blitz games. So I liked this line which Katerina played, just when from the point of view that you are playing blitz now.
Absolutely. Queen d4 played, but what's going on here? Pawn takes d5 is e5 the idea. Pawn takes e5, e5. I like that move because I don't want to take back and have those ugly pawns.
Yes, I'm thinking what to do after queen a5 now. Queen b6 was played instead. Queen b6 also looks good.
Yeah, queen b6, because the problem is if queens comes up off the board, then your big formidable center might turn out to be very overextended, right?
But that's true because white's pawn structure is not good. The pawns on f4, f2, e4, they are kind of weak. And the bishop can't... I mean, the advantage of bishop versus the knight is not actually an advantage, but it may be the advantage of knight versus the bishop. Bishop f3, queen d4, d4. The problem is that at any time black takes on d5, there's e5.
I
Of
know,
course,
that's really irritating. Otherwise, black would just be much better.
maybe black can try to take on d5 now, and after e5 play knight e4. So the line may go something like c takes d5, e5, knight e4, bishop takes e4, d takes e4, queen e4, and then black takes on b2.
Well, look at that. You predicted it.
Right.
Knight e4 on the board. So the
Good.
idea is now e6 check. We do have queen takes d4 and pawn takes e6. So that's key.
What to do for white now?
Well, okay, so bishop b4, pawn e4, queen e4, queen b2, your line. What about just rook b1 there?
Also,
Let's
rook
try
d1
to
immediately, yeah, so that not to allow.
just keep things going. Take on b7. I mean, you are going to be up a key pawn there, though. We could also play e6 as played. Okay, that looks like a good idea, but I'm a little nervous if things don't work out for white. That pawn structure and that king on g1 do not look favorable. Queen takes a2, just grabbing another pawn. How Grunfeld-esque.
Maybe rook d7 now.
Okay, rook d7.
Trying to create something. I don't know
you
what.
got to. Well, f5.
Does it work?
What does it do? What does it do? She just took on f5, queen e5, check played. So now if king f8, there's queen h8 mate, but obviously we're not going to do that. We got to play either, what do we do?
f6.
F6. That was the move you didn't like last match.
But last match was a different story. Now f6.
Yeah. Last match it wasn't forced. I got you. Queen takes f5. All right. So white definitely is going to want to play a move to lift a rook into the position. But it's black's move now.
Just trade the rooks and play a rook g8, then king h8.
This defense. Okay,
it's
so
active defense.
yeah, you're ready to mate me as well. I see. So queen a4 played. What? King h1.
Is it a blunder?
Rook takes d1. What's going on?
And there is no queen g4 check.
There's no queen g4 check because the queen's on a4. She must have hallucinated that, guys. But
it's like a blunder, yeah. She resigned.
But on the good news, that makes the match a little bit closer as Katarina now narrows that lead of Valentina. It's a 2-point match.
It's still 4-2, but we see Katarina change the line, and I think it's a good sign. She didn't manage to pose problems in the lines with d4 and knight c3, so she's trying something new. Let's see how successful she will be in this line.
Yeah, I love that she's able to do that. I felt like that was the problem. Even though Sarah Kadim came very close to winning her match, it's like if she was having problems in an opening, she had trouble switching to another one. And it seems like now at the professional level, players are trying, especially in these long blitz matches, to have a couple of aces up their sleeve.
No, if something doesn't go your way, you have to change something. Maybe it will not help, but at least you tried. So I think this is the good approach. And here, white has already the 2-pair bishop advantage, and it's an open position. So I think white has advantage here.
Yeah, I like it too. Look at this, c4. You're not even castled yet.
Yeah, when you have bishops, it's very important that you try to open the position. Then the bishops will show their strengths.
Exactly. Great point. And not only that, we're also taking one of our double pawns and we're removing it from the board because you don't really have a choice. You're going to have to let me take on c5. You took on c4, but then b7 hangs, right?
D takes c4. So Valentina sacrifices the pawn on b7, or maybe there was simply no choice.
Yeah, perhaps. But she hasn't taken it yet. She's thinking about it.
She's thinking if to take it or maybe
Or
she...
what?
Or what? Yes, maybe she's thinking about some idea like bishop a3. But bishop a3, rook fc8 doesn't lead anywhere, in my opinion.
So she did
Finally,
say
she took...
queen b7, d7, temporarily taboo, knight e5, queen e2 all played.
Looks very good for white. If queen c3, then what? Then simply bishop d2.
Yeah, bishop d2 looks good because you have to hold on to that knight on e5, right? And you're gonna struggle to do that. So I don't
In
know.
general, bishop d2 may be a threat now. Or bishop f4 also.
Bishop d2 is a threat because if queen c5, what do you do?
Good question. Maybe bishop f4 is more dangerous.
Yeah, bishop f4 because I have the pin and I can't move because of that rook on b8. So she has moved it. She's moved it to c8. That seems like a smart move. So now bishop f4 less of an issue because you can play knight takes c4.
Yes, rook b8 looks nice.
Bishop d2 played, and now
queen
again we
c5.
affect queen c5. The only move to keep that knight on e5 under attack. Okay, bishop e3, but what's the idea if we just take on c4? I guess a7 is hanging.
Yeah, then she takes the pawn on h7, and she will try to run with the a pawn as fast as possible.
Don't blame her. That looks like a very promising idea. I mean, you say knights are better in bullet chess, but this isn't bullet. This is still blitz.
In blitz, it's still not so clear. In bullet, it's definitely better to have knights.
But these are really strong bishops too. And I mean, look at them. That bishop on g2 slicing across the whole board. The bishop on d4 also. All those key squares it's controlling. These are the two bishops that we like to write home about.
e5 may be played, but I believe after e5, bishop c3 will be the answer, and you can't move the knight from c4 after that.
Why can't I move the knight on c4? What about like knight e3? Oh, because you have bishop takes e5. Nice.
Yeah, so bishop, so knight a3 was possible to play immediately, but and knight a3, I think white could just play c3. Any problems? Knight d7, a4. In my opinion, Katarina is going to win another game.
What about what about knight e3 here though? Is there
maybe just take it and then run with a5, a6.
Yeah, good point. I agree though. Yeah, I think Katarina's gonna win this. She's also got a minute edge on the clock.
Then the match is still unclear. If she wins this, it's already 4-3. After 4-1, 4-3 looks like a huge improvement.
It's been a match of streaks. One win for Katarina, then four in a row for Valentina, and now it looks like it's going to be 2 in a row for Katarina.
Very balanced.
But that's the thing about blitz. It is streaky because when you're on a roll, you just start to play better with more confidence, more speed, as we see this big advantage on the board and on the clock for Katarina Lano.
Yeah, bishop 7, look at that. She's winning the exchange and everything is collapsing. Just rook a7.
Yeah, and the problem is that pawn still lives.
Rook b1. Sometimes with the idea of rook b6.
Well, rook d1 with the subtle threat of rook d8 checkmate. Been prevented. King e8, rook d7 though. We're not going to stop these checkmate threats. Rook g7, and they're going to be renewed. This is the power of the rooks.
Rooks on the 7th rank are very, very strong.
Yep, you've read in the books and you're seeing it happen right here. And the reason is that they take stuff, and while they take stuff, they threaten checkmate. That's not fun. It's kind of like a windmill type thing. And here you have it, Katerina Lano. Now we only have a 1-point lead for Valentina Gunina, despite winning 4 games in a row. Who would have thought that? This is most likely the last game of 3 minutes. So Katerina's got a chance to even the score now.
But do we have time to play one more game? 3+1?
Oh, we are playing this game, but this
okay,
will be
so
the
this game
last
will
one.
be played. Fine.
Probably, unless it finishes quickly for some reason. But, this will probably be the last one. And we have another Grunfeld, another bishop d2 Grunfeld.
But now Valentina didn't go knight f3. She didn't want to allow this bishop g4, bishop f3 idea. Let's see what she will do now. There is bishop e2 followed by f4 setup. She went for f4 immediately. But when you play so actively, then you have to continue playing actively so that to make it work. Otherwise, all these pawns will be weaknesses very soon with some. I think black has to play some c6 or e6 immediately. And just to say that white advanced a bit too much. Once again, to me, it looks like black has got a nice position. After d takes c6, they are not even obliged to take b takes c6, but they can think about something like queen b6, followed by knight e3 ideas, something of this kind. Will d takes c6 be played? In any case, I think Valentina has to change something in this line or to change the line in general, because bishop d2 doesn't look like she gets promising positions in this line.
I agree with you, and I have to ask you, since we're in our last more slow blitz game, what is the most underrated variation against the Grunfeld? Something that is not that popular, but has some teeth.
It's really difficult to say because there are so many options, and I wouldn't say there are some that are underrated. We can look at it from a different point of view, that there are many lines where computer just shows it's 0, 0, 0, so it's like equal. But when you start playing, it's not so clear. The modern trends are in a bishop c4 followed by knight e2 setup. This looks like the main line at the moment, and this is played very often at the top level.
All right, so the bishop c4, knight e2 lines, leaving ourselves that f pawn open to play f3 and fortify our center. Look it up, guys. There's a lot of great games in that from the past and the present. But getting back into this game, what's going on? Knight e3 has just been sunk into the position, hitting d1. Look at that king in the center. But is this enough?
I don't like it for white. And once
Queen
again,
takes d4. No, knight takes d4. I hallucinated. Sorry. I got too excited there. That wouldn't have worked. Knight takes f1 was played, though.
Knight takes f1. So we will see that white will not castle in this game. c7. Wow, what a move.
Not necessarily. The knight could move away and then move again, and white could castle. But yes, it's unlikely.
But I really like this move, because even if the knight moves, for example, to e3, then we can take on e3 and then we can castle. So it's not like as bad as it looked.
Yeah, your prediction was proved wrong on I thought that was a pretty safe prediction too. White won't castle in this game, but it's possible now. Bishop e6 played, okay, and now rook takes f1.
Okay, there will be no castle.
This time I'm gonna have to agree with you. Rook a8, rook b4. So okay, c7 can be captured. And then what's the body count? Equal material with a knight versus a bishop.
Looks like it's okay for black. Looks like it's completely okay.
And again, black had a minute on the clock. Oh, she's knocked on a pawn. Bobby Fischer, Spassky-esque, king f2. I guess b3 wasn't tracking the bishop because
there was bishop b1.
Bishop B1 because our king was on E1. See, that's the problem with not castling, Anna.
Yeah, king F2. So she's trying to play rook A1 on the next move, but at least you can go back with bishop E6 and just be a pawn up. It's not so easy to convert as it will be the rook endgame if you play bishop E6, knight E6, f takes E6. But it's only black who can win this game. That's clear.
Only black. But she's sinking into deep thought here. I think she's in like 40 seconds on this move. She's played bishop E6.
She was trying to keep the bishop, and that's understandable, but it wasn't easy. Otherwise, b3 or rook a1 were unpleasant threats. Rook d8. On the other hand, for some reason, Valentina doesn't want to take on e6. But if we play rook d6, I thought about bishop c8.
She's played f5. That's right. Valentina keeping her knight, thinking that gives her better saving chances. Bishop d5, though, the bishop g2 is not a threat because there is rook g1.
The pawn on f6 is a bit unpleasant. Rook f1. I think Valentina wants to go with the rook to g3 via f3. Yeah, of course she wants that. So how to defend now? Rook g3 will be played. Rook g7, that's Valentina. The king has to run. Maybe king 8.
For both sides, though. A5 played. Okay, what do we do here? Rook h7, friendly mate. Gotta run.
Will we see the repetition? I thought about king g8, rook g7.
No, the king has escaped to d7, rook b8 on the board. Look at that knight on d4 doing a good job of keeping the king out of c6. And now rook e8, and she's just trying to swerve. Ooh, bishop d5, though. She's ready for the endgame. Rook e5, pawn e5, king e5 would allow bishop g2.
Though maybe it's not so bad for white. They can try some knight f5. Oh, knight
e6.
Okay. Knight is
cool,
but knight f4. Nice idea.
Knight f4. You couldn't take because then f7 and queen would be inevitable.
b5, knight c5. Oh. Maybe king e5.
Technically, black is up a pawn, but this advanced f6 pawn and the strong king on e5 seem to give white compensation.
And
but
only 3 seconds for both sides. Oh, God.
2 seconds. Oh, Valentina losing on time. Oh,
yes.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. And we've got a tied up match. Anna, what's going on today? Every match is tied. It's incredible into the bullet portion. But I don't know. Katerina is on a roll. Good time for a break for Valentina.
I think it's she really needs a break, and it's good for her that she will have some time to recover, because after you lose such games, you really need to calm down. I think it's good for Valentina. Absolutely. So everything will be decided in bullet games again.
That's right. Valentina Gunina versus Katerina Lano. Their match is tied up 4-4, and it is going to be decided in bullet chess, and we'll be back in just a few minutes for that. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Women's Speed Chess Championships. I'm Jennifer Shahade. I'm here with Grandmaster Anna Muzychuk. And if you're just tuning in, well, you missed out on a lot of crazy and exciting chess. But here we are in the bullet portion of a tied up match between two legends in the world of women in chess, Grandmaster Katerina Lano and Grandmaster Valentina Gunina. And they started off with a Carol Khan. Oh, no, I think maybe the
I
game
think it's
hasn't
from the
started yet.
last game. Yeah.
Sorry. I thought this was the game, but then I was like, they're thinking in a bullet game. That doesn't seem right. But I am excited to get us started any second now. What is your prediction, Anna?
Yes, indeed. We are witnessing two very interesting, two amazing matches today. One is already finished and the other one is still on the way. The 1+1 part is about to start. The score is even, so it's really exciting. And the matches are starting.
And Valentina got a little break, which is good because she had lost so many games in a row. Wait.
But the match
Game
was
aborted.
aborted.
Maybe the colors were wrong. We'll figure that out, but I'm sure the game will get restarted in just a second.
I think so. Must be some technical
Yeah,
problem.
I was right. I was right about something today. Wrong colors. So they're going to switch that and then we'll get restarted. As I think that it's exciting though. We see we're probably going to get some more Grunfelds when Katarina's black, and I don't blame her because she's getting good positions.
So it's interesting if Valentina will repeat her bishop d2 line, but I think she will try something else because she didn't do well in the previous games.
And also she's had a little chance on the break maybe to catch her breath and think about it. But here we go. As we've got another Carol Khan. And what do you think of this line?
The last time Katarina played it, it was very successful for her. So I think Valentina will change something. Maybe she will not give another bishop, and she didn't do that. She kept her dark squared bishop on the board, and I think it's a good approach.
All right, both of them are playing really fast. You love to see that. There's going to be some high quality bullet games. I know some people might say, hey, that's an oxymoron, but everything is relative.
By the way, the game has just started and she couldn't take the e4 pawn back because after d takes e4, knight e5 was a nice trick. Therefore, she had to give the pawn basically for free.
Ooh, so Valentina's up a pawn to start. And are we trying to play e4 as well? Why couldn't we play e4 last move? Well, it doesn't matter now. Queen h4 played, removing yourself from that pin.
Yeah,
Rook takes
everything
d7.
happening very quickly. Rook d7 for bullet game is a perfect move. Just queen d7, bishop f6, g takes f6, and then something like knight g3, followed by knight f5, or knight is coming to e4, or h5. It's very unpleasant. So maybe not to take this bishop.
Maybe no, she felt she had to, but this looks really horrible.
That looks very unpleasant, and in the bullet game, it's very difficult to play such position. I would even prefer not to take on h6 immediately. I thought about knight g3 and then move the knight first somewhere to e4, to f5, or to h5. But anyway, we're in this position, so let's
Now,
see.
by the way, the reason she didn't play knight g3 there was like f5 is probably a pretty good resource. You're very happy to give away a pawn to get your queen into the defense. Now queen h8, okay. Queen f3. We are gearing up to play knight h5.
But look at this queen on h8. You don't see the queen on h8 in every game.
Or the knight on e4. But look at this. The rook now coming to the defense laterally as well. Rook f4.
Rook d4 and rook f4 was very nice. Rook d8.
We've seen that in previous games from Valentina. She knows how to lift her rooks and use them in unusual ways. Okay, so is knight h5 a possibility? Because the pawn seems to be taboo. Queen h4 piling up on both the knight on e4 and the pawn on f2.
Rook f5 now.
Wow, look at how Valentina weathered this storm.
She's playing very well with the rooks. All these transfers are amazing. Before rook f4, now f5, maybe a threat. Is f5 a threat? It's dangerous to play it, but knight g3. Be careful with this knight, because this knight
Yeah, this was
It's
definitely
very
an
dangerous.
accomplishment.
King G6, look at that.
I don't know. Could be turning around again. Look at that bishop on e4. Oh, but f5 was possible. Bishop g2 on the board. This is not easy
Queen
because
G8.
you got to worry about those pesky checks.
Oh, be careful with Queen G8 check.
She
And now
saw
Queen
it, but
G7.
g7 check.
There was Queen G7 and Knight F5.
There was. She missed it. We're
Rook
taking
G3.
d3 though. Pawn g3, queen g3, bishop g2. Are we gonna get a perp? No, black looks like they're playing for more. I don't know who's playing for more. I guess black because they've got all those pawns.
But it's not clear whose king is better and whose bishop is better sometimes. The bishop e4?
Bishop e4, okay. King h6. Got a follow-up?
Is there any mate? No, queen f1.
But yeah, look
Just
at that.
check.
Yeah, she's trading queens off now, and bishop
a6 is
c3
important.
is in
Yeah,
position.
a6 is played.
Okay.
It looks like a draw.
Yeah, we're gonna see a very well played draw. I mean, obviously there were some tactics that were missed, but it was a bullet game. As Glamdring27 says in the chat, these two can play bullet better than most of us can play classical. Indeed.
Yeah, this game was really nice.
They do play some really good games, even with 1 minute on the clock.
And now black will try to run with the king. Oh, bishop c7. The king is coming. The king is coming. King f4. King f4, take it. Take it. Okay. Well, now it's draw. Unless someone loses on time. But I hope that won't happen because we already saw so many painful games today.
And there it is. There's the draw. There is the draw.
Very
what a well-played game. What a well-played draw. As we're heading into our Grunfeld. I think.
G3. Okay. G3.
Yes. Well, you called it. She had to try something different.
This is more solid.
I like this. For Blitz also, having a Fianchetto bishop, it kind of makes some of the ideas a little bit more flow oriented where you don't have to think about things. So I thought this was a really good shift up for Valentina.
Yeah, let's see how this line goes. Knight e5. So black has kind of hanging pawns in the center. But queen c6, what's happening? Attacking the rook, attacking the pawn on d5. I think it was a small blunder. Knight takes d5. Can it be taken?
Keep taking things. Seems like a good strategy. The knight on c4 isn't take, so we had to play rook c8. Now queen b7, knight e7 check is a threat.
Yeah, be careful with knight e7. That's why black has no time to take the pawn on b2. What can they do? King h8?
No, they decided to just take that beast on d5, and I don't blame her, but this is bad because that a pawn lives and the e pawn.
So white is pawn up.
Pawn up, and we have the two bishops, and you have a uncomfortable knight on b2. So just trumps everywhere for white. As Valentina looks to have her first win in the match in a while. By the way, look at her time also. She's got double the time of Katerina Lano.
What about taking a knight c3? Rook c2. Maybe f5 or rook d1 and f5 looking this bishop.
That's a great idea. Just try to suppress those bishops a little bit. Probably we'd end up having to play g4 at some time to let it out. Rook d8 check. Rook d7 hammering on that pawn. Nice.
Bishop e3.
Nice. Another pawn that we really want.
Could she take on a7 or rook a7?
Yeah, she decided to interpolate bishop g4 first, but now she's taken. But the problem is now, of course, the knight is protecting the a2 pawn, so we were able to recapture it, and now it should be a draw.
Unless we see some fork, unexpected fork, unpleasant fork.
Yeah. Although Valentina does have 40 seconds to Katerina's 13, so she has time to avoid any kind of like forks or pre-moves that would cost her the game.
Maybe to play h5. Yeah, finally h5 was played.
This is a miss for Valentina though, because she had everything going for her. She really
had a good chance to win this game, but something went wrong at some moment.
Yeah.
Still, she's trying, and I like it. She will go with f4, f5 idea.
At this rate, we're going to get another playoff, Anna.
Oh, long working day.
Another Armageddon. I feel in it. Because this could be a draw. Actually, probably not. This will probably be a draw, and then we'll have game point. Although it's like 1 minute and 30 seconds. You know, like if you think that you're better than your opponent, like a diabolical strategy would be to try to run out the time just so that you have more games. Because obviously, the better you are, the more games you want, right? You'd rather have a 2-game match as opposed to a game point.
And now what out? This knight is jumping. 93. Nice somewhere.
But it's also a color thing, right? Like Valentina, I mean, Katerina will get the chance with the white pieces if she draws this, right? In the game point. So she wants that to happen.
I think this game will be a draw.
Yeah, but it's 50 seconds now. And it's about 45 seconds left on the clock. And it seems to me that Valentina might have this in mind. She doesn't want to offer a draw, run out the clock, and take Katerina's extra white away. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, sorry, I will be back soon.
Oh yeah, no worries. 97 check. Okay, well. And look at this. Bishop takes e5, and our king is stopped. And the white pawn is queening first with a check. And white is winning the game. Oh my gosh. And do we have time? We have 5 seconds. And Valentina Gunina takes the lead with just 3 seconds left on the clock. And this gives Katerina the chance to come back, but she must win this game. That was supposed to be a draw, but white won the game. Valentina won. Yes, he managed to queen a pawn. There was a mistaken trade that Katerina miscalculated. She thought that she was stopping the pawns were queening at the same time, but white queened with check, and white won the game. And now the only good news for Katerina was that there was still a few seconds left on the shot clock, so she's able to play one more game. And if she wins this game, we go to a playoff.
You know, to be honest, I thought that if there was someone to win this game, I thought it would be black because they had the knight. But suddenly white won. Now, what about bishop takes f2?
Oh no, queen b1, queen takes e5. What do we got here? We got 2 pieces for the rook, but our king is in jeopardy.
Why didn't she take the pawn c2?
Good question. Queen c3 now. Valentina asks, okay. I mean, Katerina, rather, she will defend it.
Maybe b3 just to free the bishop and to defend the rook on a1.
Yeah, for sure. We want to play bishop b2.
So
well,
bishop
how many pawns? So black's only got 1 pawn for it. And now that it looks like white is unraveling the pieces, white should be doing well, right?
Bishop c3. Now the idea maybe to play g4, followed by a knight g3, then g5.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that black didn't go in for the queen trade. I feel like maybe because they think the king is weaker, but I think now if the king gets itself to h2, it might be the opposite eventually. And the white will be the one that gets attacking chances, and black would rather have an endgame. Okay, g5. My problem with that move is I can't put my queen on g5 anymore, but that's okay. She's got another idea. She's going to stick her bishop on h3. That knight is coming to the juicy f5 square.
Sometimes there might be ideas with knight takes g7. Not now. Maybe h5.
But it's true that you can't really play knight
f4. No, knight g7. Because after king g7 there was the pin.
Yep. Now knight g7. Same thing. King takes g7, queen takes f4, and we win back the material with devastating threats. And I think knight white is going to win this game.
Yeah, bishop d7. And knight g4.
Knight g4. Everything is weak in your position.
So e5. It's tied again, right?
That's right, 95, rook e5, queen takes f4 would be in the position. So instead she played knight e6, queen g3. Now where's our threat?
It was just on pen the knight, knight g4 and knight f6. And then everything is good. Well, white is piece up, so.
Yeah, white is just a piece up and has a dominating structure on top of that. And it looks like we're going to a 1 minute tiebreak again, guys.
Again, two more games.
We get some bonus games. Rook to f1, knight g5. Okay, let's see the technique here because Katerina only has 6 seconds, so anything can happen. Rook c4, king d8. We saw crazy things happen.
And bishop e3. Bishop takes h6. Rook e4 is even more precise, not giving the e5 pawn. Now bishop takes h6. But Valentina keeps on playing. She doesn't resign. There was a trick because after rook e6 there was knight d4.
Exactly. I don't blame her. Keep playing. Wait, what happened?
She managed.
How did we lose a piece? We just lost a piece.
Because there was a knight in d5 and she played e6 too quickly. Anyway, she's still losing, but
she's only got 3 seconds. Anything can happen here now. Yes, you're up 2 pawns, but you've got 3 seconds left. Oh no, you're up 1 pawn. You're only up 1 pawn.
Look at that.
Bishop d8 though. She's ready to take b6. She's got 1 second left.
No. Bishop b6. Knight f4.
Okay, but there's rook c7 check. Wait, black won because Katerina timed out, and Valentina Gunina is the champ of this match. Wow. What a crazy match. What an insane.
But what a great fight from Valentina's side. It's amazing. She won the game. It was totally lost. She just started jumping with this knight, and it was so unpleasant. I mean, when I played my last match, I lost 1 game with being 2 exchanges up, and I didn't blunder anything, but it was like I was working my position move by move, and then suddenly I lost this game. I was so much surprised, but now I see that it's not only me, but that happens to many players. So what a fight by Valentina. So she becomes another finalist, and again it's Ushenina versus Valentina, just like in the first leg.
It's going to be a great match, and we are going to be back with an interview. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes at the Women's Speed Chess Championship.
Nice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grandmaster Valentina Gurnina, who had just won an epic match against Katerina Lano. Thank you so much for joining us after that crazy match, Valentina.
Yeah, I'm still shocked, because it was so interesting and so nervous match.
Yeah, I mean, we really were expecting a playoff because in that last game you were just down a piece, but you kept fighting. How do you do that?
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about anything else. Just about my reaction because 1+1, it's incredible. I cannot think about anything, even about chess. I just move and after just like look at the board, what's going on.
Absolutely pure instinct. By the way, I mean, you started out with 4 wins in a row. Actually, you lost the first game, then you won 4 in a row, and you lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so, I don't know, but it was really interesting match, and we both played so well. So it was really, really amazing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, people were commenting on the quality of the games. I mean, considering it was 1 minute, just the games were so well contested and dynamic. Anna, what did you think?
Yeah, congrats, Valentina. It was really a very exciting match. I have a question. After you lost 3 games in a row and the match was tied, I believe this break was really important for you to calm down and to feel yourself and to think what you're going to change. So what did you think in this period? Obviously, you changed some lines, but what were you thinking? How psychologically you are preparing yourself for the next next matches, next games?
But they had this so big storm outside. So for me, it was like I was thinking about. I was afraid that my internet will broke. So I was worried about it, and I just started to lose. But when it was finished, I think exactly when we had 4-4. And after I thought, okay, finally, probably my internet won't be losing. So I was happy at least it's finished because it was so hard.
I know myself. Sometimes when I play and when the weather is bad, I'm also thinking like, oh no, just don't. I don't lose the internet connection because I want to continue. So
Yeah,
nice.
it was disturbing because it was so hard, and just like knocking on my window, and I at some point I even cannot concentrate. I was trying, but okay, what to do?
Well, you played such great bullet chess, Valentina. Do you have any tips for people watching how to get better at bullet chess?
I even surprised myself because I don't like this 1+1 because it's only about instincts. But I was qualified by 1+1, and now I won this match because of this, and I'm really surprised by myself because I didn't think I can play so fast.
Well, you did it, and you qualified to the match against Ushanina. How do you feel about this? You have a day off, so you can relax a little bit.
Yes, and I want to, I want to fight because I lost to her, and I think I'm so excited now because I think it will be so great match.
I think so too. I mean, the way that you guys have both been playing, her match today also went to the absolute wire. You should catch some of that replay because it was insane. And we predict another maybe playoff. I don't know. What do you think on it?
Let's see what will happen. But now I'm so happy because I'm really happy that I can play like this. I really like how I play. Okay, I have also so many mistakes, but okay, I'm in final, so.
That's right. You are in the final. Grandmaster Valentina Gurnina. What an entertaining match. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on Sunday for the final.
Thank you, girls. Bye.
Yeah, have a nice rest day.
And here we have it, the schedule. So that's right, July 4th, we will not have any chess. There is a rest day before the final. So July 5th, you can tune in at the same time. That's 5:30 Pacific time. And we will see whether Anna Ushinina or Valentina Gunina win this leg. But look ahead too. There's lots more chess, leg 3 and leg 4 later in July, and lots of big money at stake. Again, big shout out, chess.com, FIDE. Difficult time in the world for many chess players where their live events are canceled, and watching all these online sites and sponsors step up and provide entertainment for the fans and income for the players is beautiful to see.
Indeed, I like the event. Tomorrow is a free day, but the day after tomorrow, the main battle, the question who will be the champion will be finally decided. So looking forward to another exciting match and another exciting games.
And it was an honor, Anna, to call this with you. I've been a big fan of yours, but I've never gotten a chance to meet you in person. But it was so much fun working with you today. And of course, everybody watching, you can follow Anna. I think you're doing Twitch now as well. But on top of that, you can follow her in this very event in leg 4 because she'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back in the fourth leg. And thank you, Jennifer. I was also very glad to commentate today together with you. And thanks to all our viewers. Thanks for your support. It's really great. And I hope I'll do more of commentary. And I'm running my Twitch channel. I started recently, like a bit more than 2 months ago. So I'm a bit of a newbie, but I'm trying to improve.
Oh, well, you're doing fantastically. I only saw positive comments in the chat. Again, thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you for the exciting conclusion of leg 2 of the Women's Speed Championships on Sunday. Till then, we're going to raid our friend Minle, and we will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you next time.